Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing, everybody? I had to do before we start. No, so when I set the stream up, I have to do it in the future. Um, so that's the only reason. Nah, then I was just waiting on you, J Mac. Yeah, and we started. Once J Mac came over. Hello, everybody. Lovely Sarah P was the first one here, as always. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. That would be very handy indeed for me. Sarah, you are quick. That's what they all say. Hey, Lady Dies in the house. Why are we waiting now? We're not waiting, Bad Dazza. Don't worry, made it. Also, if you would like to help me with my trip to Boston, I'm going anyway. But if you did want to help, then that's the GoFundMe account, and obviously PayPal and buy me a coffee. I need to grift better, so there you go. I'm grifting. There you go. That would help out. So thank you very much. As I keep up with all the streams, I'm sorry. I do apologize, but to be fair, you fucking brought on yourselves. So all you people that were bitching about me, you all cause RP more work. So I hope you can look yourselves in the mirror for that. Now we have to wait 112 minutes. No, don't forget to hit the like or down, because all those names he was calling everyone, including me. But to be fair, it doesn't matter if you put it up or down. Up or down, doesn't matter. Glad to see you all made it. How many seconds is that? Join, become a member if you want to. And obviously, yes, follow me on that. Who dis? There you go. I come back even though I don't mind. Oh, no, stop. Stop. That was my twin brother, Jersey Jen. That's not me. I have it. Not me. I was on the phone. Thank you. You haven't learned to grift better yet? No, I haven't. I'm fucking shit at grifting. Tomorrow is Family Friday. It is. Sorry, Sarah P. Ha ha ha. All good, J Mac. You see, now you should be fucking sorry. Sarah P wrote to me and said, "Oh, I'm hoping for an early night tonight. Can you tell everybody that they don't matter so we can end the stream early? I know you're gonna get shit for it, but you know, I'd really appreciate if you could help me out." I was like, "Yeah, I'll tell everyone they don't matter just for you, Sarah P." But look what happened. So I did try, Sarah P. I did try for you. Right. First one happened, I think, yesterday. This is a police chase. Officers chasing stolen car. I'm going to make a coffee whilst this is on, so bear with me whilst I put this one on. I'll put this one on. It's a day ago this happened in Los Angeles.
Over the pursuit.
I'll play this one first, and then... Oops, let me put the volume on. I like it because that's the way we do it. Thank you, Jersey Jenna. You never have to give a super chat, my darling. You never have to give a super chat. Thank you, though, my darling. I really appreciate you for that, because you became a member earlier on, and becoming a member is much more important to me than super chats and stuff like that. Thank you very much, my darling. I appreciate you, and thank you for forgiving me. We'll just blame Dana as always. So thank you, Jersey Jen. Thank you very much. Both, thank you for your super chat, Jersey Jen. There you go. Where's Robin G? It's all her fault as well. Robin G and Dana together. Right, let's make it bigger. That's what she said. Right, here we go. I'll take myself off. I'm going to make a quick coffee. And then I will be back before Dana comes in. And Robin G, both causing problems again. You know what they're both like. You know, look at them there. Thank you, Jersey Jen. Thank you very much. Right. Did a new stream start? Robin G? Yes. You got directed straight over. So hang on. Let me just check one thing to make sure the settings are fine here. This the way we do it. This the way we do it, baby. Right. Well, you are the moderator. You are the monitor. So you have to be. That would be fun. I've never done any crimes before. Right, here we go, everybody. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Over the pursuit. This is the 101 in Universal City. This is actually in Studio City. It was the exit there at Universal City, exit 12A, if you want to get really specific. A stolen vehicle pursuit, and you can see, Christine, the vehicle making its way to the number 1 and number 2 lanes, trying to get by traffic. as it's doing everything it can to stay away from police.
Yeah, going now through the Hollywood Hills at pretty high rate of speed there. The freeway, 8 o'clock at night here, is really wide open there in the Hollywood Hills. Of course, you're going to come upon the Hollywood Bowl. Don't know if there's any event there tonight, but probably all the cars are in place about now anyway. But this freeway being open like this allows this driver to go at this high rate of speeds. It started around 8 o'clock in the San Fernando Valley. You can see that, a little dangerous there. Boy, can you imagine being a car and you see someone flying up on you like that? It's very scary.
Very scary. So if you have anybody out on the roads right now at this hour in this particular area, please let them know. This is one of those things where you do not want to try to be a hero. We always hear that from law enforcement. If you see a pursuit coming up behind you, if you can react quick enough, you want to move over to the far right lanes. You don't always have that opportunity. This can go very wrong very quickly. When we talk about how do we bring these pursuits to an end, there are a few different methods that law enforcement can deploy at any given time, but it just depends on the traffic situation, time of day. Is it a highway? Is it a freeway? Is it a surface street? And here we are on the 101. So we potentially think of, Christine, spike strips have been used a lot on highways. But again, that's really when authorities have to get way ahead of the suspected driver and be able to plan ahead, as we're now taking the exit here at Holly Drive. It looks like Vine Street in the Hollywood Hills.
Okay, so this is a game changer here where you have this suspect getting off the freeway. If you saw when they were passing kind of by the Hollywood Bowl area, it was pretty backed up there on surface streets, kind of wide open here. It's an interesting location that we used to know well here at Fox 11. Our studio used to be in that Hollywood area. Don't know if the suspect knows this area well, wants to get back on a freeway perhaps and go back towards the San Fernando Valley there. We talk about suspects sometimes going to an area, dangerous move there to get around the traffic. Very dangerous. Back on the freeway, Marla, here we go. This suspect, again, might be going back northbound there on the 101 to go back to an area that feels more familiar. You can see that night sun right there tracking their every move.
Okay, so here is the information that we are working to confirm. Stolen vehicle, suspected stolen vehicle pursuit, suspect behind the wheel here. It's been identified as looks like it definitely sideswiped. And it looks like an SUV. According to what we're hearing, it looks like a gray SUV. It's hard to tell given even with the night sun on it, but no doubt it looked like, Christine, you can confirm from your vantage point that certainly sideswiped the innocent driver.
Yeah.
Like so some damage there. We're hearing it is a male suspect behind the wheel. So we will work to confirm some of these details. But we see this now playing out on surface streets in the Hollywood Hills. And Christine, we know how tight these streets can be and how if you're coming from the other direction, you don't expect to have a pursuit suspect coming right at you.
So interesting move by this driver here. So the driver started in the San Fernando Valley, got on the 101 freeway, went towards the Hollywood Hills, got back on the freeway after being on surface streets for a short time, and then got back off the freeway like one exit over. So not sure why they are doing this jog around freeways and surface streets. Hollywood Hills, as Marlon noted, very narrow streets, as you can see right here. Not sure if this driver has any idea where they're going. Very scary for any resident in this area. In case this driver tries to ditch that vehicle, where do you go? You might go into somebody's yard or knock on their door or try to carjack them. So very scary if you live near Holly Drive and San Marco Drive and Deep Dell Place, because that's an area where it's residential. There are no businesses there. So very scary if you live there. Lock those doors.
And I was just going to note, in the Hollywood Hills, if you're familiar with it, you know there can be dead-end streets. There can be the cul-de-sacs, and it looked like they just hit one of those dead-end streets. So this could be a bonus for law enforcement. Let's bring on to our coverage Tim Lynn. He is a law enforcement specialist. Tim, what do you make of this in the Hollywood Hills? Very dangerous, given how tight these streets are.
Exactly. It's not going to be a very high speed in these areas due to the topography here, but it's going to be very hard to contain these streets because they wind it down through these hills and they go so high to where the vehicles or the police vehicles can't set up a perimeter around it very easily. And you were saying earlier that the cul-de-sacs up here and not knowing this area, he's just wandering, probably trying to figure out a way to get out. But after that crash, when he just before he went up into the hills here, he's probably just trying to find a place to get out and run because, at this point, he's not trying to get to his house. He's just trying to get out of the area, backing up here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these driving through the Hollywood Hills when you're not being pursued by police in broad daylight can be tricky. You have to go slow. It's so narrow, and so there's so many little side streets and curves, and clearly it doesn't seem, to your point, Tim, that this suspect knows this area well. And we often see that, though. We see that where people want to go where they're familiar. That makes sense. But to end up in the Hollywood Hills, probably not a great place to be.
No, I really don't think he's in an area where he knows where he's going. He just happened to get up the wrong street. And it looks like the ground units may have come in now and picked up on him. Looked like he blacked out at one point. I kept watching the night sun from the helicopter turning on and turning off. And to me, that was indicating they were in a surveillance mode. But at this point now, he's blacked out and they're in full pursuit at this point. And the one thing you did say that would make a lot of sense in this, you've got to keep in mind when these people get into neighborhoods, especially in that type of area where everything is very tight and quiet, lock your doors and make sure everything is shut down, because these people will get out, get on foot, and find the first open door they can go through to try to hide from the police. And if you happen to be in that building or the house, it could cause a lot of problems. But luckily, he worked his way out of the hills and now is on the freeway of the 101 northbound here. So we'll have to see what happens down, how damaged his vehicle is after that crash.
Yeah, pro or con, I'm not sure what it is. The fact that this driver made his way out of the hills there, was able to escape. Is that a motorcycle hot on his tail? That's not good. I would back off. This driver does not have his lights on, it appears, which is very scary. I hope this motorcycle person gets an idea of what's going on here and perhaps wants to stay as far away from that vehicle as possible. You have to see those police cars if you're on that motorcycle, I'm sure. So a scary situation right there where you have to worry about an accident, other motorists, obviously no pedestrians here on the freeway, but not sure where this driver is going, but it is back towards the origin of the start of this pursuit, San Fernando Valley.
Yeah, getting back to that, to the area where it started, sometimes that's, what we talk about, where they go to where they know the area, they're familiar with the area, but, half the time they just end up going someplace and just trying to get out. But going at this speeds with no lights, the people on the freeway just trying to get home in the evening, having this person blast by them, this is just a disaster waiting to happen, because he's got a lot of speed and he's trying to work his way through traffic. And every once in a while, that gap that you think you have isn't there, and they have too much speed to be able to stop. But unfortunately, CHP or LAPD back on the pursuit and with the lights and sirens, so they're going to be able to alert the drivers around, also with the night sun from that helicopter. But at one point here, I wouldn't doubt for a second that the watch commander from LAPD is going to go ahead and call this off on the ground units and have it go to surveillance mode and have the helicopter just follow it.
Sorry, I misclicked.
And I believe I was told the want is...
Sorry, I misclicked a few things there. Sorry. Interference. Spicy!
Not understand why, because a lot of these can end up with deadly consequences, or like we saw that wild pursuit play out on our air live on Sunday night with the multiple.
Let's not spoil it now. We're going to play that in a bit. So I'm cutting you off there because we don't want to spoil it. There will be another car chase from Sunday night that we will be playing at some point. So can you just shut up and not talk about it, please?
Easier said than done, right, Tim? And
I know it's easier said than done, but I'm asking you nicely. Do not fucking speak about it.
Basically, out of...
No, basically about it. Just fucking don't do it.
Exactly.
I know. He agrees with me. Jim agrees with me. So...
crime. And you don't want to have somebody lose their life over a vehicle and somebody taking a vehicle. Now, the one the other night, Sunday, they had to stay with those folks because they were stealing other cars. They were jumping out of one, getting into another, and that's really putting the public in danger. So you try to get those people off the road as quickly. But something like this, where you just have somebody driving at a high rate of speed and just really causing more hazards than necessary, than the watch commander watching the feed from the media, and also the call from the helicopter above. They have to weigh those parameters of the pursuit to see. But if he starts picking up more speed here, he's up in the hundreds now. Yeah, blacked out. You're just asking for it. So the watch commander more than likely will stop it.
That is terrifying to see, the lights off. I'm wondering, Tim, from your perspective, how hard is it for this driver to drive with the lights off when it comes to visibility?
Sorry, Jen.
It's very difficult. You don't realize how dark those freeways are when you turn off your lights. I mean, they are.
Did you just say you don't realize how dark those freeways are? Jim, you dirty fucker.
There's no light to the rear, but they're still not strong enough to show any hazards ahead, or to be able to give you depth perception to be able to make moves like he's doing here.
I got to mute him because he's talking about depth perception and going in from the rear, and it's dark to have a threesome and stuff. So I think Jim's a little bit like, woohoo, calm it down. It's PG, Jim. It's PG, my friends. Jeepers. We don't need to know what you would do in the rear end there, Jim. Depth perception in the rear. He was going for it. I think he might be drunk, everybody.
We can look back and see if there's any.
Do not look back and see whatever's there. Just keep going. Keep plowing, Jim.
The car right now, normally you'll see the overhead lights flashing.
Some people do have overhead lights, mirrors and stuff whilst, you're doing it. So
to stay in contact with the driver, but you have to maintain your safety and maintain the safety.
Always, safety comes first, no matter what, people. You don't want to get an STD or anything, so safety comes first.
He actually can go, and if he's going 100 miles an hour, is it really?
If he's going that fast, then he'll be ending very quickly.
Mine as you're driving, because there is liability involved in these.
Yeah, you could get a baby.
You have an accident, you're gonna have to.
You're gonna have to go to the surgery and become a papa.
Trained for that, and always has that in the back of their mind.
There are some courses, though, if you do have a slip up and you become a parent. So there's plenty of courses for that.
North Roscoe Boulevard exit passing right here. Speeds, yes, above 100 miles per hour. This is a stolen vehicle pursuit. This kicked off in the San Fernando Valley. We've seen it go onto surface streets in the Hollywood Hills. We've seen it, let's bring this up if we could, sideswipe an innocent driver once it got off the 101 southbound here, trying to get away from authorities, and boom, that innocent driver just got sideswiped by the stolen vehicle pursuit. Now driving on the 170 north without headlights on. Tim Lynn, the police specialist on the line with us, you think that they as in LAPD, decided to back off and only track from above just because it is so...
You're fine, Jen. You fit right in, my darling.
The black and white still right on this driver's tail.
That's CHP. They've probably requested.
Everyone likes a bit of tail.
Freeway, and going north, more than likely out of their jurisdiction. They'll go ahead and call in CHP to come in and take over to help out on that, because one, the CHP know the freeways very well. They know the hazards on the freeway, and then they have that capability of handing it off as it goes through the different jurisdictions. And LAPD doesn't have to run units out of the city. So CHP has a little different policy than LAPD. They're a little more aggressive on the pursuits. They drive at high speeds all the time. They're trained for very high speed driving. So they will be.
I think this was like 2 nights ago, Hippie Chick, because it's LA time and it's 1 day ago in LA. So it'd been Tuesday night, I think. I know, I'd be pissed as well. Sideswiping, Josie.
A little too reckless. If he causes that driver to go, excessive as he's doing right now at 90 miles an hour, the CHP watch commander will shut them down as well, because they too have the same liability as the local law enforcement should an accident happen during these pursuits. But they have other means of stopping these pursuits along the way, and going on the 170 now transition to the 5 freeway. going to keep going up. And if they get to certain areas, they have places where they can use spike strips on the freeway. And that pretty much is the only way. That looks like they're getting off the freeway or Terabella.
Mm-hmm.
And this will put him into the Arleta, Pacoima area. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, so that does slow down the speeds just a little bit. We are lucky, though, that these roads have been fairly wide open. Dangerous move there. So
Yeah.
CHP will stay with this, even though it's on the surface streets, thinking that they might get back on the freeway at any minute. Tim, is that right?
They'll stay with it for a bit. And I've had it personally to where they get off the freeway, then they just give it up really quick. And you better be ready to go as soon as they do that. But most of the times they'll stick with it as best they can. And if it gets too deep into the city, then they'll go ahead and have LAPD come back in and take over. So right now, the Foothill Division of LAPD is well aware of this pursuit in their jurisdiction.
It was scary, Josie, when I first... Dana picked me up. I'm not kidding you. Dana picked me up. He put my luggage in his truck. And then he went round to the other side. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, he goes, yeah, get in, hop in. I was like, what? This is the driving, it's a passenger. I didn't expect that. It wasn't me driving, by the way, Joe. That's me, the passenger side of that video. My father was driving. So yeah, it was. I got used to it by the end. But yeah, I couldn't have just landed in Boston and then just drove. And people driving in Boston are wild as well. So, I mean, Dennis is wild, because he has to be. Because everyone's wild there. You have to be really wild. They go up really quickly. Oh, women seem to have that thing for men. Give it quickly.
Multiple passengers inside. We haven't heard that yet. We're working to get more information confirmed. But for people who are watching us and just jumping on the air to watch this latest stolen vehicle pursuit unfold live right here on LA Live News Tonight.
Remember, this is not live. This is from a couple of days ago. Please make sure you like and subscribe, people. Half of you have not liked the stream, so please make sure you like the stream. It would really help me out. Thank you very much.
Surface streets here in Pacoima. It's important to note as we're squeezing our way through this intersection, doing anything that they can to get through. It looks like a Chevron or a gas station there to get through. Should they make a U-turn? Nope. This is just clearly, Tim, this person doesn't have a game plan in mind.
No, he's just driving through the area here of the north end of Pacoima, south into Sylmar. And this is a kind of a tight area up in this area. A lot of people on foot all times of the night. And so you have to keep that in mind. And CHP, now, they may not have that information. Now, if you're turning on Van Nuys, this will take you back towards the 5 freeway. But the area on Van Nuys Boulevard, you're coming back towards San Fernando Road is a very tight area. CHP looks like they're thinking about doing a pit. Yeah, but they're a little bit too quick. Just looking at the speeds are 54 miles an hour.
Yeah,
a lot will happen at that speed if you do that. So he had a chance to take a look, and more than likely he's teeing it up for when he catches him on a turn. But man, a very sharp turn there around the corner, down through the neighborhood here. And right now he's kind of working his way back down towards the Pierce Street. So this is a very, as I said, thin streets, very tight, very dark. So I hope somebody's not out there, but CHP is sticking with it. And I'm surprised LAPD hasn't gotten in on this yet.
Tim, you're right. Those streets are very narrow in that neighborhood, which is very scary because it's so dark out there. You can see that. We did see CHP get a little more aggressive when it comes to trying to bring this to an end with the start. You can feel the energy of the pit maneuver right there just a short time ago. Right now, though, as we're... what happened there? Sparks. My question for you, Tim, as you watch how this driver is driving, the speeds, the aggressiveness, what does it tell you about this driver and how badly they want to get away from law enforcement?
Yeah, he's very, very motivated. I can tell you that. You see, they're right there. LAPD is watching the area, just came in on there. So they're keeping an eye. But this area right here is a very crowded housing project area. He just drove through it. I'm sure he was going to go out on foot because those are extremely difficult to deal with. But yeah, when they get going fast like this, and they're doing all this turning and stuff, all they're trying to do is get distance between them and that unit behind them to be able to get out and get over a couple fences and hopefully get get away. But with the helicopter overhead, with their light, their infrared camera, it's going to be very difficult. Now, coming back onto Pierce, like I said, this is a big backup all the way to probably San Fernando Road. LAPD sitting there waiting. Now he's going southbound San Fernando. This will take him back down towards the Osborne, Laurel Canyon area. So, going to get a lot of speed on this part of the street. This is more of a wide area that they have, but blacked out, and actually no daytime running lights now that we got in front. He's totally blacked out.
Yeah.
So nobody's seeing him come, and that's super dangerous because people will make a simple turn or lane change not knowing he's there.
Oh,
the
gosh, I
driver's
hate to
there.
see
So
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
speeds of this,
speeds,
yeah.
if you look at the speeds on the surface streets, 75 miles per hour plus at this point, no lights. This is in Pacoima, San Fernando Road. And, you know, it's like, oh gosh, like watching somebody with a death wish here, just blowing through intersections. This is a stolen vehicle pursuit suspect behind the wheel here, some sort of an SUV. We're still working to confirm some of the details. This did start in the San Fernando Valley. It's the night sun that you're seeing tracking from above. CHP is involved and now LAPD. So even though it is on surface streets, to Christine's point, Tim, it's still CHP as we now zoom in. It looks like some back end damage with something hanging off the right side of the right tail light there, making a right turn here on Branford Street. They work in conjunction, CHP and LAPD.
Yes, the pursuing unit will stay on it. The
Wait,
like I
we're
said
stopping.
before,
We're going to
they're
interrupt
stopping.
here. Yeah, they're stopping here. They stopped. One person out bailing, making a run for it. Not very quickly, though. Not a fast runner there. You'd think law enforcement that's been right there on that pursuit will catch this person pretty quickly. You have to wonder, though, are they armed, Tim? That's got to be a big concern there as police are chasing this person.
Well, it looks like the CHP had backed off a bit because of that driving. So this is what happens when they do that surveillance mode. It gets into the point.
Run, 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 Forrest, run, Forrest, run, run, run. Grumpy saddle.
That we're trailing at the outside of the area to be able to pin down this guy. They lock down the area, but you know it's very difficult for that for the officers to get into the area quickly. Here comes the first CHP officer, and now LAPD is going to swoop into the area as well and start setting that perimeter. But he's gotten up into this business area here, so we'll have to see if they're able to figure out. But ran into that.
It looks like somebody, innocent bystander there is just saying, yeah, I saw somebody run this way.
Yeah, it's imagine being at work, you know, waiting there, and all of a sudden somebody comes running by and not into the business. Now they got to make sure that they get the back of that business sealed. That's what that TFO or the flight officer is doing in the area to be able to keep that back door covered, because he gets into those cars, he's going to have a lot of cover and concealment to get through there. So now they have to lock down this area and try to pin this guy into these strip mall or this strip business area. So it's going to be a hard work for LAPD and CHP to narrow this thing down. And so, as you
Jim straight to the strip in already. We've not even caught the guy yet, and he's straight in. Let's go and strip off and stuff.
CHP will more likely back out at this point, let LAPD come in, because they're more trained and more able to search buildings, and also have the availability of having canines and things of that sort. But now you see the area turn its light back on, kind of keeping an eye on the back. He's also the observer on that helicopter, the tactical flight officer, is using an infrared camera to keep an eye out to see if anybody pops up. It's much easier to see them with that infrared than it is with the light. And they're flying very low with the LAPD helicopter here, keeping an eye out. So they're gonna tighten this perimeter up, try to seal this area off to where the person can't get out, and then hopefully start doing a search for that suspect.
Start doing a search of the back door. Okay, Jim. Right, I think we've had enough of Jim. He's been on the source, I think. Talk about strippers and back doors. Right, but the back door is wide open, so maybe they will do something here. I'm not sure if this one is the same one or not. Is this the same one, or is this a different one? I don't know if this is a different back door, or if it's the same back door. I think it's the same one. Is there a van? Was there a van involved in this one? I think it's the same. Yes, it is. This is just a longer version. So I'll jump in on this one then to see what happened. Right. Always cover the back door. Absolutely. You did a wall come out the back door. Right. Let's do this. Then this is the same chase, and they've gone in through the back door.
Are trying to gather some information about what this business is, what the layout is, and what they're going to.
We all do, J-Mac. We all do, yes.
And they are going to figure out the best way to make access to. Oh, you see another employee running out. You got to imagine that's a extremely scary situation if you're just working the night shift at a warehouse here, and somebody just runs in and probably barricades themselves in one of these offices. Curious to see CHP kind of backing away from the building now. We're trying to gather some more information from the LAPD airship and the monitoring the communications of the CHP officers and the LAPD officers on the ground as they now develop a plan of attack here. They're setting up a perimeter around this building. It did seem like the air unit from LAPD got a good handle of the what kind of building they're dealing with here, and if there's any entrances and exits that police would have to be aware of. And they also have those employees that ran out of the building that could possibly help with that information as well. For those of you familiar with the area, this is going to be in Pacoima, just west of San Fernando Road, just off of Branford Street. There's a couple businesses. It looks like a cargo company and a couple other shipping companies in this business complex. You see their pallets inside, boxes nearby. The air unit has indicated to the officers on the ground that there's no known exit in the rear of the building. So that should be some help to these officers, knowing that they can then figure out how to take this suspect into custody, knowing that hopefully he has no way out once he's inside. You see there the woman in the blue dress. She was one of the employees inside. On the left side of the picture there, Rob, if we pan right a little bit, that was one of the other employees inside the business left. He's talking to officers there.
Right, this is just a standoff. I'm gonna maybe come back to that later because it's just so long. So I'll try and, because otherwise people are gonna lose interest. So let's see what else is here. Hang on. Right, hang on. We've got, because there's some other chases. So hang on, this week. Right, here we go. This one is from Sunday night. So this is a big wagon. This is a big gun. This is a big wide load here. So let's have a look at this bad boy. Look how big that is. Here we go.
Vehicle will start eating the rubber off the rims. And unless the driver just is at a high rate of speed when he hits them, and that goes away very quickly, then you got a problem. Like going down the backside of the Grapevine, you probably wouldn't do it from Port Tejon up there. Go ahead.
Also, I mean, this is a sort of a milk tanker truck. I'm assuming it's also what we consider an 18-wheeler. So if you hit a spike strip and you get lucky with 1 or 2 tires, then you get 16 more to keep moving on. So yeah, this is a really this is a challenge for law enforcement.
It is. And going back to the spike strip that you're talking about, you only have to get the front 2 tires and the 2 driving tires on the back of the tractor part. The trailer doesn't really matter. But the thing is that they'll pick their spot, a slow spot, such as climbing the hill here, going back south on the freeway. It starts going uphill. They'll hit it on an uphill mode versus, like I was saying, on a downhill where he can pick up a lot of inertia and then lose control, because these vehicles can, once they get out of sorts or out of whack and they're starting to move around, they can flip over very quickly. And as I said earlier, get going sideways and go right through that center divider.
Yeah, nobody wants that to happen. So
no.
Up ahead, so is that what they're doing? I mean, I know he's a little bit unpredictable. He was going southbound, then he's going northbound, getting on and off. But I mean, you need a bit of lead time to shut the freeway down and get the spike strips in place, right?
Well, what they'll do is they'll slow down the vehicles behind him so there's no traffic passing. They'll shut off the on-ramps and try to get the number of vehicles on the freeway to a minimum. And then once they get a clear path and they get into an area of the freeway that's not really
busy.
Well, it's southbound 5, and it collects the trucks up, and they go in that tunnel. And as they come around, they have an option to get on that 14 northbound. So it depends on which lanes he picks up. But you see now there's CHP units all over. Now he's inside and under that tunnel right now. So right here, he could have turned, blocked traffic, and tried to steal a car in that tunnel. So they're waiting for him to pop out. Is that him there? No. So he's in the tunnel. So he could be on foot now going the opposite direction, trying to get out. Up there he comes.
Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of things that can happen, but there are a lot of CHP officers on the road that can get out and set up in different directions to anticipate which way he's going to go. So if he takes that northbound 14, there's officers there. If he continues south on the 5, or if he picks up the 210 east, they can get ahead of him. And like I said, they're looking for their choke points. They're looking for that spot that they've already predetermined where is a good spot to do it. And that's where about the only thing they can do with this truck. If they can't get it remotely shut down, then a spike strip is the only thing that they can do. But luckily, he is not driving too
erratically
right now. Yeah, he's just kind of moving along and staying with traffic, and luckily not trying to weave and move other trucks off the road like we've seen before.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that other truck that you saw there on his left was still there. I mean, apparently just went right by the trailing CHP officers.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the folks around here have no idea what's going on. They just know this truck is going, and the night sun from the helicopter is on it, and they're just trying to figure out what is going on. So they're just doing their normal thing, driving their rig to where they need to go, and they have this second rig go by them. So probably the last thing I would mind if they know this thing has been carjacked. Yeah.
We're talking with former law enforcement officer Tim Lynn, who's sort of an expert on all of these things. I guess when you're in Southern California and you're a law enforcement officer and you're a pilot and you're on the news, then this is sort of a fact of life. I mean, can they just follow them until tomorrow?
Oh, they can.
I mean, I know there's a fixed amount of fuel on board, but he's not going anywhere that they can't see him. So there's no urgency to stop him.
Right. And also the driver who was on board that got out is probably giving them information on how much fuel is on board, and how many hours are left on the vehicle. They see a CHP right there on the side of the road. But yeah, even the ones that they try to stop go for hours. I mean, 6-7 hours at a time. And what they'll do, sometimes they'll just stay in the same area that they're familiar with.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
They'll. This one here, he went north and decided to turn around and come back and go south. So it's no telling where this guy's going to end up.
Yeah, but see, Tim, I don't understand why these other vehicles are still passing him. I mean, are the CHP vehicles behind them not stopping traffic?
I doubt there's CHP behind it because more than likely, if they were there, they'd be doing what's called a traffic
The tracking
break,
mode?
weaving.
Yeah.
Well, they do a weave. You've seen that when they're trying to slow traffic down for a traffic hazard.
Yeah.
They get behind and weave and hold traffic back at the main line. Now, but you're still going to have the folks coming on the freeway who are going to pass. Now, here's a CHP unit, 2 CHP units popping on, and they're going to start breaking it down. Now you got 4. So now you have a large amount of CHP units behind it. That will keep all traffic from passing it, except for the things that come onto the freeway. So as we continue south on the 5 freeway here through Sylmar, he's going to come up on the 405 here as well, and he could end up going south 405. In fact, that might be the 405 interchange right there, I believe. So, and then 118 is down a little bit further. So he's got a lot of directions he can go at this point. In fact, that's the 405 interchange right there. And so if he continues south now, he's got the 118 ahead of him. They're going to stay behind him, and I guarantee you there's units ahead that are trying to block off on-ramps as best they can, but there's only so much you can do. And so you're going to have to leapfrog and have different offices as they go along. That's the one advantage CHP has over local law enforcement. They have jurisdictions within their department. They're called offices, and each office will take charge of their area and pass it off to each other as it goes down. So you don't have new hall officers down in the middle of South Central or something.
Yeah, I mean,
there's Central Division.
Yeah, it's a very well coordinated effort. So, Tim Lin, I want to thank you for jumping on with us on short notice. I'm Phil Schumann. This is a live pursuit on the I-5 southbound of a carjacking suspect, started in Lancaster in a pickup truck, attempted to carjack a passenger car, and then carjacked live on our air this truck that looks to be some type of milk delivery truck. So we're going to sign up for now, but you can watch this live on the Fox local app and check it out on Good Day LA at 4 a.m. Live on the Fox local app and check it out on Good Day LA at 4 a.m.
It was sparked by the 1994 Northridge earthquake. Her journey took her from Cal State Northridge to Mississippi State University and across the country from New York City to Houston. Star's not just about
Hi, lovely. Sorry, just to come back. How are you doing, lovely? Nice to see you. Is there no sound? No, no sound. No, I don't know why there's no sound. There's just no sound. There might be sound in a little bit. I have no idea. But for now, there's no sound. Okay. Right, yeah, so there's no sound. This is from Sunday night in LA. This is a big motherfucker. I think they did carjacking, as in they stole this. They were stopped or being stopped by the police, and they stole this for some reason. I know a lot of you watched this already. I'm sorry that your son spoiled it, Josie. But yeah, so you see the police cars chasing. 4 police cars you can see. Cruisers, whatever you call them. Yeah, I agree with Josie as well. These night ones are a lot more tense. I feel they're more tense when there's no friggin' audio for it as well. Ba 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 ra 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 ra. Hey girls. Boom 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 boom. Hey boys. That's Sarah P's voice. Na 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 na. Like a batter of hell. Oh, I don't want to sing. I don't want to sing. Sing, sing along. Oh, we ba 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 Sarah P. Oh, Sarah P. She goes pee pee pee. Oh, Sarah P. She goes pee pee. So yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, we're just watching a lorry, a truck, or wherever you say in America. It's a big one. It's a long one. It's got a big head and long tail, so that can cause some damage, I imagine, on the truck right there. It's probably some sort of milk. We would say a milk lorry. It says 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5. It's 5 cruisers, police cruisers. 5 of them following this big truck. So yeah, my understanding is that this big truck was hijacked by somebody or someone, 1, 2 people, and now we're driving. I don't know why you're driving, dude, because you know, like, you pretty much have no chance of getting away. Lovely says it's been a busy day. Sorry I missed everything, but I hope you all had a fantastic day. We did, and we missed you. We missed you, Lovely. We missed you, my darling. I hope it was a fruitful and day for you, Lovely. We just grand on some car chases. The chat made me do it, so they were like, they're telling me that I wasn't working hard enough, so they made me do it. Jersey, Jen. Like, where does Milk Guy think he's going? I know, Jen. Like, he's stuffed. Like, so I don't believe that this is the actual truck driver. I think that this was ceased, as in people robbed it. I think, from my understanding. If Erin Hack is still here, just so you know, the Vikings, JJ McCarthy will not be starting on Saturday. You'll be Sam Howell as quarterback, just so you know. And any LA Ram fans, yes, Matthew Stafford will be getting some training on Saturday to see if he's ready to go. You can imagine this if this big truck gets an explosion right at the end, just the white milk going everywhere. You can imagine what that looks like. Lovely, don't listen to him. He said we didn't matter and called us losers, so we shamed him into another stream. They did. I did call them losers. And I feel ashamed. Lovely. If you were here, Lovely, I never would have done that. I never would have done it. Oh, I will feel bad about that for ages. You did guilt trip me into it. I thought there'd be more interesting car chases, though. Robin G, you mofo, you were part of the gang that did that as well. You're supposed to monitor the bus, and you just let the children berserk, Robin G. So I blame you. I blame you and Dana. Da 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 da. No, right. Oh, as well, I got my. So you know, all know I got my potential criminal mug. Today he arrived. Let me pause this for a second. This arrived today as well. My potentially criminal T-shirt. The fat guy Nick Rakita yelled at, and that's Sean there. So I got this as well in the post today. Don't, Jen, don't. Don't make me feel bad. Don't make me feel bad, Jen. You're at the top of the food chain, Jen. You're at the top. Don't worry. You are at the top. It is a great shirt, isn't it? It's a great shirt. And I love Potential Criminal. So, and Rokita did call him the fat guy. So. Da na 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 na. Hey you na da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look to see what's going on. Not much at the minute. I mean, with no audio, it's not as good, is it? Do you know what I mean? Let's be honest. This is a little bit tedious. It doesn't seem to be as, that milk gonna sour. It's gonna explode in a little bit. It's gonna explode. Ba-da-da-da. Ba-da. Ba-da-da. 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 Da-da-da. Bum bum. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-ba-da. Ba-da. Ooh. 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 beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep. Beep, dee, dee. Dee, 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 dee. Dee, dee. Ooh. 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 No worries. Redeeming yourself, Dylan. Trying to. Are we driving and listening? No worries. We at church. Sarah P. Sarah P. Sarah P. 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 There you go, Sarah. Oh, it's just like it's tough when there's no audio. Let's have a look. No. Oh, it says no audio at the bottom. Motherfuckers. I mean. Let's. I mean, there's no audio, so right. That is rubbish. That's rubbish. Be Sarah. Bum, ba-da-da-da-da. Yeah, yeah. Da, ba-da-ba-ba-bum. No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Shaggy. It wasn't me. Shaggy. Da. Right. Okay. Let's have a look at this one. I hope we haven't played it. I hope we haven't played this one again. This is an old one, 2 years ago, but let's fucking play it. I might call it a night then. But this might be a little bit more interesting. I blame you, Sarah P. Right, here we go. Dee, dee, dee.
Wood, Stu, what can you tell us?
Well, we're actually right by the airport right now, right by LAX, and you know how LAX loves the helicopters out here, so they're actually kind of holding us a little bit at bay. You can see that vehicle right there. It has a lot of damage on it. It's that Avalanche, Chevy Avalanche, has some damage on the passenger side. Looks like it even had lost a tire. Now, the Sheriff's Department not involved in this, but LAPD is, and it's going to be a little difficult for us to stay with this right now as he's making his way underneath the freeway right there. I'm going to try to keep with it because he's underneath the 105 right now. But this pursuit is continuing on, and you can see the PD helicopter right there. And hang on, we just...
No worries, Jersey Jen. She says, okay, go mobile for my drive home. Oh, love Stu. You love Stu and we love you, Jen. It's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine.
Got to keep an eye on it. So he's actually working to our benefit there. He's staying away from the 105 freeway. There's that vehicle right there. So we are heading southbound now, and you can see that vehicle continuing right now. Murder suspect inside the car. That's what we need to talk about right now. They actually told him negative on the pit, even though it has damage on the car, meaning they're not going to try to do a pit maneuver on this because that's an armed and dangerous suspect. They don't want that vehicle to spin around and then have an armed suspect pointing at officers. Right now, slower speeds as we're making our way through the El Segundo area, still moving southbound here on Aviation Boulevard. Pretty slow, but definitely a dangerous pursuit.
Do we know if the who's driving? And I was hearing reports that the murder suspect could be in the back seat.
You know what? I don't have that information. We were too busy trying to actually locate this, and it was by the LAX area, so it was making it very difficult. I was keeping up as best as I could.
There you go. You forgive us. Steve was the best traffic commenter. That's funny. I get in my car and he's gone. I'm here. I missed you all today. Yes, he was very productive, as effective and successful indeed. No rest for the wicked, lol. How's your day, Dylan and chat? What happened? Nothing much happened. We played Brian Walsh all day. We did miss you. J Mac was in here looking for a crown, looking for you, but you weren't here. Jersey Jen, lovely Sarah Peace, thank you. I hate it when people call her lovely because she's not. I'm joking. She is lovely. Yeah, you're Joe. I know. I switched streams. The other ones do my head in. Here we go.
With what was going on, but I don't know if that murder suspect's in the backseat. We'll stay a little bit tighter. We'll see if we can figure out if there's more than one person inside that vehicle. Again, though, this is in an area where it's difficult for us to stay with it.
Yeah, Stu, we're also hearing this is...
Yeah, Twitter is, X is shithole, Katie. It's not real life. Just remember this. It's not real life. And the people on there, they unless they use their real names, stuff like that, they're not real people. Unless you know them, they tell you who they are. They just, most of them are scumbags. They're just not real people. They probably don't even leave the house, most of them. They're just sad, pathetic people. A lot of them are. Now, there's a lot of good people, don't get me wrong, but you normally know who they are. But the ones that you don't know who they are, they just, keep away from them.
slowing down their speeds a little bit on these roads.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm really with you guys right now. I can tell you the speeds have really slowed down. That's the big thing right now. But he is continuing to run red lights out here, and we're making our way on El Segundo Boulevard. I'm trying to get a bearing on which way exactly we're going. We're still in the LAX area. My pilot Dylan today definitely trying to keep with this the best we can. But of course, we have the LA.
I am trying, everybody. I am trying to keep up. It's hard to keep up sometimes. I'm getting old now.
Where we're at right now, but you can see that pursuit continuing right now. LAPD definitely staying behind it. They're not going to let this thing go. How they're going to bring this to an end, though, that is the big question. Of course, they cannot use that pit maneuver because they said, as you mentioned early on, attempt murder suspect, but possibly armed, and they don't want to have a situation where that vehicle is pointed at them after they do a pit maneuver. Trying to blend into traffic right there. Definitely has no front passenger tire. That was what I saw earlier on. But right now you can see that he's made his way onto Sepulveda Boulevard, and it looks like we're going to be heading northbound on Sepulveda, and I'm going to have to work with the pilot here for just a moment to try to keep up with it. And I just heard Dylan, he's listening in and he's keeping up with us, but he actually said that he's trying to get a hold of them right now to try to expedite our ability to stay with it. Yep. But right now, though, you can see that vehicle, 3 tires now up on the sidewalk, I believe. Yeah. No, not out on the sidewalk, not on the side, just on a portion.
Well, it looked like he was there for a second, though, Stu. Yeah, it sure did. And
at any rate,
we're also hearing, Stu, that there are 3 occupants in this vehicle. We don't exactly know who they are, what kind of relationship they have with each other. But yeah, you can see him right now. He's weaving in and out of traffic. It's getting a little congested where he is, but he is taking it slow, I have to say.
Well, that Avalanche, a big truck, probably a 5.3 liter in there, big V8, but with 3 tires, it's going to make it very difficult to steer and control. That weaving and stuff like that, I'm not sure what that driver is thinking, but right now you can see the LAPD, they have the opportunity to do that pit. The speeds are right. There might be a little, every now and then there's a lot of other cars nearby, and I'm sure that that's what that officer in that first vehicle wants to do, but they're just because of the fact that they may be armed and dangerous, they're not going to be able to do that, making a wide turn, and it looks like we're going to be on the wrong side of the road right now. And again, this just continues to make it so very dangerous for the civilians or the people on the roadway right now. You've got people driving there probably trying to make their way to the airport, or maybe lunchtime for a lot of folks, and now they're having somebody driving the wrong way on the roadway. This is not what you want to see. Made his way back. He corrected it. You can see it right there. Now we're back on the right side of the road. Speed's definitely picking up right now. You can see 60 miles an hour, and that probably is about accurate, and we're going to keep up with it. He's underneath on Imperial right there, very close to the 105, but if he makes a turn to the south, that would be the best. If he makes a turn to the north, it's going to make it difficult for us to keep up with it. But again, dangerous pursuit out here. LAPD, they've got their things they got to deal with right now as well. Like, how are they going to bring this to an end? They're not going to let this one go. They're not going to go into a tracking mode with something like this, and definitely with the possibility of an armed and dangerous suspect in that back seat. You can see the LAPD helicopter right above it. But right now, this pursuit continues near the LAX area as this truck keeps those officers at bay. 3 tires, so he's going to have some braking problems. And right now, back underneath the 105.
Yeah, this is kind of a tricky pursuit, at least from our end right now, because we are looking at a lot of overpasses, tall buildings as well. That's kind of tough for you guys to navigate and to get a clear picture of. But yeah, we are hearing confirmed murder suspect in this SUV, this truck, 3 occupants in the vehicle. As you're watching this police pursuit unfold right now, we're trying to get a clearer shot of exactly where he is.
Yeah, he's continuing on Imperial Highway.
Yeah.
The 105 keeps blocking him right there, but he's continuing on Imperial. We'll probably get just a glimpse of him right there through that underpass. Unless he turns or something happens right there, we're going to get ahead of him. There he is, making his way past us right now, but continuing on. So we're going to be leaving the LAX area. This is a plus for us, and it's going to be getting us into the Inglewood area. But you can see right there, not a lot of traffic on Imperial. That's a big plus. And then you got some cars. You got a red light right there, just went right through that solid red, but this continues on. Very dangerous situation indeed, but LAPD, they're going to bring this to an end, hopefully without any kind of injuries or any problems. Right now though, continuing on, we're making our way out of the LAX area and into the Hawthorne area, and this vehicle continues to try to maneuver around stuff. I just wonder how long that rim is going to hold up. If that rim starts getting too worn down, it's going to start dragging, and it's going to make that truck even more impossible to maneuver. And it looks like we're going to be going northbound now in the Hawthorne area, and we're going to be on Inglewood Boulevard.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's possibly the reason he's taking it slower, is because he knows that his front tire has essentially come off. I wonder how long he can drive like that.
We've seen these go for quite a long time, and we've seen a lot of these suspects just keep pushing those vehicles because they, what difference does it make about the car? They're not concerned about what's going on there. They're trying to get away from law enforcement, so they're going to do whatever they can. Right now, using that center lane, northbound is where he's headed. It's going to be difficult for Skyfox to keep up. I'm sure Dylan is going to try to help make a plan here to see, unless he turns around. If he continues northbound, we're going to have to cross over LAX again, and that's going to be a little difficult for us. But right now, continuing northbound on Inglewood Boulevard, making his way away from the 105 and LAPD. You can see that officer right there. He just wants to get up there and do that pit maneuver. But at this point, it's not approved because there's an armed and dangerous suspect inside that vehicle.
Yeah, so they have to really kind of keep their distance in cases like this, right? Because it's unconfirmed that he's armed. Is that right?
Well, they have reports of, and that's good enough. I mean, you don't want to get into a situation where, you're thinking this. I'm sure they believe that every suspect could have the possibility of being armed when they approach him. But when they actually have reports of, they're going to take that even more serious. Making his way up to another major intersection up there, that's going to be Century Boulevard. That was one of his takes earlier on, but it looks like he's continuing northbound as he's making his way northbound on Century. LAPD still right there, hot on his trail, doing what they can just to keep the public safe. Lights and sirens, let people know what's going on. You can see people pulling over to the side of the road. That's what they need to do. But right now, that's an armed and dangerous suspect in a heavy vehicle that has problems. As that front wheel is out, they don't want this vehicle careening into somebody innocent, taking another life. They've had those issues in the past.
Well, certainly it's kind of fortuitous that there are not many cars on the road. What's the consideration behind maybe putting down spike strips?
You know what? I'm sorry about that. I was just talking to Dylan. I had my mic muted. We're making plans to get up. We have to climb up to about 2,500 feet or more, and then we have to go across the LAX. But now it does appear that he's making that turn and he's heading back towards the 405. So now he's on 93rd Street, but still very slow speeds out there. LAPD, they would have had many opportunities to do that pit to bring this thing to an end, but again, because the situation inside that vehicle, they're not going to want to do that. This truck continues to push that one rim, and the more that thing wears down, the more that's going to create drag on that truck. Hopefully the truck gives up before those suspects do, and then maybe they'll just kind of get out of that vehicle towards the end. We've seen a lot of foot chases where they get out and run, but if one of those suspects is armed, it's going to be a very dangerous situation indeed. LAPD, they know about this. They have other officers in the area, and of course they're getting a hold of Inglewood PD. I'm sure they know what's going on as well. Going across, getting into oncoming traffic once again. A lot of traffic down there. You can see people waiting for that light, making that turn. Looks like we're going to be heading northbound again on La Cienega. That seems to be one of the roads that he favors, as he's been on that a number of times this afternoon.
Yeah, at some point you would have to imagine that the front tire would give out. And that this would come to an end. He is taking it awfully slow. It's speeds of between 40 and 50 miles an hour right now? 40 miles an hour?
Yeah, 40 to 50. Yeah, 40 to 50 miles an hour. That's pretty accurate, by the way. Even though we're quite a distance away, I wish I could just get out of the doubler and just show you how far away it is. I'm sure Dylan can't even see it with his naked eye. But that vehicle continuing, a little bit of a swerve right there. You know, Marla, I'm really kind of curious about that front wheel as well. You know, that thing's just going to kind of grind and grind and grind. Eventually, it's going to start running on the chassis. And when that starts happening, that truck is really going to start slowing down. But again, just continuing on, a lot of folks on the road today. Now he's got to do that against traffic thing again. It is just dangerous for anybody that's out there right now. Even though that vehicle moving relatively slow, you know, you just don't want to see him careen into a pedestrian or anything like that. Now we're going to be going eastbound on Olive Street, so back over the 405. You notice he's not getting on any freeway.
No,
so
he's not. Yeah.
Wonder, yeah. Maybe he's looking for a spot where they know or they have an idea or somebody's in the area that they can jump out and run to. But right now, I got to work with Dylan once again. We got to get across. We got to get across LAX. And he's hearing me. He's actually telling me we're waiting for permission to cross. So it's going to be a few moments or two, but he's making a U-turn again as I'm hearing it. There he is. Yep, that's correct. And he's making a U-turn, so he's heading back the same way. So he's westbound once again. We're going to lose him behind that hotel. But you just got to wonder.
It's almost like he's going around in circles.
Right. And
it
seems like, it almost, he's staying in this area. And I don't think that, a lot of times we'll hear like, oh, here we go. And
no, he's come to a stop.
Change his mind.
Oh,
nope,
no, he's not.
No, he's not. Nope.
Change his mind.
Yeah. So, and again, against traffic right there as he just continues to elude these officers. But LAPD, they have the opportunity, many an opportunity to do that pit maneuver on this one, but it's just because of that dangerous situation inside that vehicle that they're not going to be doing that. And now I have to let Dylan know I'm sure he's keeping up. But yeah, he's staying on the other side of the airport. So as soon as we can cross, we should be able to cross and get over and get a little closer.
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to do this dance in a way. They don't want to put he's not going fast enough really to put the public in danger. But they do have to keep their distance because just in case this guy is armed and dangerous, you just never know.
That is the big question. And a lot of we talk about pursuits all the time, and people say that it's like, well, why don't they? And why don't they? And, one of the things is like, we're not in that position. We're not that officer that's behind the wheel of that cruiser that's right behind him. And of course, they want to do what they can to get these things taken care of and as quickly as possible. They want to catch the bad guys. Trust me. But again, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're in harm's way. You're directly in harm's way. And so that's usually what's going on. And of course, the number one thing for any of a law enforcement officer is to protect the public. So again, they have to weigh these options, and they have to take care of what's going on. They have to take care of themselves. But right now, though, this suspect or suspects possibly inside this vehicle continuing on, they're going westbound. I feel Skyfox moving. I'm looking out the window. I'm going to be a lot happier when we're back over it, but we're south of LAX. This is happening north of LAX. We're meant to be over there, and we're going to be a lot closer in just a few moments.
Oh, okay, so they're going, and essentially you're going to be able to keep track of this. They're not crossing over LAX airspace, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we are literally directly over LAX right now, and you can see him slowing down, and it looks like he's trying to make another turn. Look at that front wheel. Look at you really get an idea that whole front suspension is gone. So this thing is just dragging along right there, that front wheel not even turning, making his way into a neighborhood out here. Let's get a little bit of wider shot, and it's just continuing on. Let me get you the information that you guys want right there on the road. But, he's in a neighborhood, so you got to wonder if he's here for a reason. Is he going to jump out? Is he near some place where he's got friendly people in the area that might be able to help him hide or, talk him into just giving himself up? That truck definitely just coming apart.
It's coming
right
apart
there.
As we speak, Stu.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's coming apart. This thing is going to be over, hopefully peacefully, but this car can't run for much longer like this.
Yeah, and in this time now, you were saying somebody in the back seat. I definitely see somebody in the passenger seat right there, and just making his way through this neighborhood. Still those really slow speeds out here, but again, the fact that this is an armed and dangerous suspect in there, possible attempted murder, they are going to take this very, very carefully. Even if this thing comes to an end, like that truck just stops running, it might turn out to be a standoff. But right now, just look at that damage. It's amazing that truck is still just kind of pushing along right there. And you can see one person in the passenger seat. Of course, we have the driver, of course. But you were saying that somebody might be in the back seat. And with that heavy tint, I really just can't see it right now.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. Oh, I'm seeing a little bit of sparks right now coming from that tire. It's really, Stu, it's got to be only a matter of time before this car gives out. I mean, it's already happening. So they really can't go any faster than this.
That might be part of it too. Maybe he is really pushing it, and this is all that truck is going to give right now. It's probably dragging on the frame. That wheel not even turning, kind of just flopped over to the side. So you got to wonder what it sounds like inside that truck too. That must just be an unbelievably loud in there. And then of course there's almost no control. You see this thing making these turns every now and then, but the straightaways is probably what this person wants, because that's what at least it seems to have some control about. But we're continuing on out here. We're still very, very close to the airport. This pursuit continuing. LAPD right behind it. They have a helicopter in the air as best they can, much like Skyfox, and continuing on right now. And I think Dylan was trying to get a hold of me. Just 1 second. What's up?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he is moving away from the residential area, and hopefully that will, once this thing does come to an end, you're hoping that there's not going to be some sort of standoff. But again, if it does happen, then thankfully they're no longer in that heavily residential neighborhood, which is what we saw just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, well, right now we're back on Century Boulevard, and I'm sure anybody that drives to the airport realizes exactly where we are. He's heading back towards the airport right now. And, this is the thing. We've heard this in the past, like, again, when you talk with your friends and they're like, oh, why don't they just drive to the airport then? Well, you know what? If he drives to the airport, there are plenty of cameras out there. A truck with 3 tires making all that noise, grinding along, it's going to get noticed. So if he's thinking about getting into the airport to try to escape, that is probably not going to happen. And also, you have to think, the airport police definitely notified about this, and they have the ability to lock down or stop the incoming traffic. There he goes. He did not go in. He's back onto Sepulveda Boulevard right there, and just continuing on. But this is going to be one of those things. No, he is. He's actually trying to get into the airport.
He's trying to get into the airport?
This is going to be, yes, definitely driving into the airport right now.
Yeah.
So this is one of those ones where you just got to kind of wonder if he gets out and runs into one of those terminals. Airport police definitely knows about this. But I'm hearing them talk about it right now. They're talking about he's on the arrival side. I'm going to try to get this the best we can. I'm sure Dylan is going to try to get us back over the complexes. If this thing continues, we can keep an eye on it. But right now, though, the last we saw him making his way into the airport on the arrivals level.
What does this mean for people who are trying to get to the airport right now? Do they have certain areas blocked off?
Well, right now he's made a U-turn and made his way back on the streets out here. We're working our way back out of the airport. Thank goodness for that. But I could just imagine what that would have been like, and people trying to catch their flights. It would have been very chaotic for sure. But the truck's slowing down right now. Looks like we're coming back up onto Sepulveda Boulevard, slowing down, and then making his way through there. And what's he going to do? Looks like he's continuing on wrong side of the road, and he's staying on Century, making his way back basically the same direction he just came from.
Yeah, so he's going down the wrong side of the road right now. At some point, you would have to think, and again, we don't make judgments like this, from where we're sitting, but at some point, you would have to believe that he's going slow enough to where officers would be able to catch up with him and at least make some kind of move. To stop him.
But look at that. Look at the pitch on that truck right now. It is just completely nose down. It's dragging through the asphalt right there. Wrong side of the road. You got folks that are just there you go. He just corrected it. You just got to kind of wonder, you know, a lot of these folks just coming to Los Angeles, maybe tourists, and they're making their way back over to the airport, and they see this kind
Los
of
Angeles,
crazy
right?
going on. Welcome to LA, right? Welcome to Los Angeles. But we're continuing to see it. He's making his way past all those high rises and hotels. We're going to see if we can see if he pops out right there. But that truck is just, I'm just amazed. It just keeps on going. And look at that pitch. Look at those rear wheels. This thing is just totally
this is a commercial for Avalanche right now. I mean, how well this car is held up in the face of one wheel, you know, essentially being ground down completely. And he's been going like this for quite a while, right?
He's been going like this for a minute, and you just got to kind of wonder how much longer that truck is going to put up with that. They got a lot of traffic right there. The last we saw him was right there behind that Hilton. We're going to keep an eye on it. I got an ear on the scanner as well. There they are, making their way through the traffic, and looks like we are on the correct side of the road, but that truck's still just kind of pushing along down there as we're making our way on Century Boulevard. We're eastbound, so we're heading back out towards the 405 right now. You can see all that traffic. He's got nothing he can do. He's got nothing he can do right there.
He has nowhere to go.
Looks like,
no.
Was that a Ferrari?
Did he just hit that Ferrari?
He just crashed into a Ferrari. Look at that. Oh, no. Oh, that's painful. Oh, and that guy's not happy either.
Oh, I can see the dollar signs right now, Stu.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
That guy's not happy.
Just as good as a Ferrari. It was an Audi A8. But anyways, it looks like the truck. It looks like some reason the truck is slowing down now. Doors are open.
Getting out. He's
there they go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's trying to carjack somebody. No.
Is it? Oh, no. Wait, so whose car is this?
I don't know. You know what? I think this is a friend. This has
clearly
to be a friend.
Is because they're ripping through traffic right now.
They are ripping through traffic. Like the driver of that vehicle jumped in the back seat of that thing. Looks like some sort of a Mercury. Hang on. Dylan, we got to stay with this. Okay. He's eastbound on Century, but now I can't. We got to find out if he gets on the freeway.
What happened to the other passengers in that car?
You know what? Right now, I'm going to try to stay with this car. Hang on.
All right, so if you're just joining us, LAPD is in the pursuit of a murder suspect. This has been happening in essentially LAX area, Inglewood area. They were chasing this four-door Avalanche for quite a while. The front tire came off. That car hit another car, came to a stop, and then we see the driver hop out and then go into this car, and now it's speeding down. Which area is this?
Century Boulevard, Century Boulevard, and this thing is moving along at a good clip. You know, this is somebody that was waiting for that person. So, this is one of those ones where this is not just a pursuit. This is not just somebody, just one of those regular deals. That driver of that car is now aiding and abetting. This is a big deal. LAPD right behind them right now. Again, they're probably going to be in that same situation where they can't do that pit maneuver. The driver of this vehicle driving very dangerously, extremely high speeds at some points. Right now, though, I don't know if those numbers are correct because we're actually on our digital extender right now. So those numbers for the speedometer might be off. Making a turn there, staying in this residential neighborhood. Though we know it, we saw it. The driver of that Avalanche jumps out, gets into the back seat of this car. And so this person definitely was waiting for them. This is not just a random person. This isn't a carjacking. This is somebody that was waiting for them and now took that suspect. And again, in pursuit, you can see it. We're going to be on Maple Street, LAPD right behind him right there. And those other two folks, what is going on here? What is going on there? You saw that other officer just kind of swap position. So maybe they are going to try to do a pit, be aggressive, try to take this. Oof.
Going right through intersections.
Yes, this is, we went from extremely slow, almost where I was less worried about the public. Right now, I'm extremely worried. These are high speeds, crazy maneuvers right there, getting very close to a lot of vehicles, and the speeds, just the crazy driving, the reckless driving just continues. LAPD staying behind it right there. You got one unit just right on his tail. But right now, though, this pursuit continues. The driver of that truck, probably the suspect that they were looking for, seeing how that he jumped out like that and got into the backseat of this car. Right now, though, continues on. We're in a residential neighborhood. We're going to be in the Inglewood area. LAPD in pursuit. High speeds, extremely dangerous. And it continues on out here, making their way. Looks like we're going northbound. I got to work with Dylan, see if we can get at least a little bit closer, because he's definitely outside the LAX area, and it doesn't look like we're heading back that way anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, now we kind of know, we might have a better picture as to why that original car was circling around the neighborhood. Maybe they were trying to contact whoever this person is to try to get into this escape vehicle.
You know, that might have been it. Maybe they were just biding their time, trying to get into a situation where that the driver of this vehicle was close enough to meet with that person in that avalanche and then have that opportunity to jump into that car. Just give me 1 second. I got to talk with Dylan here, and we got to make a plan so we can stay with it.
Absolutely. In the meantime, let's look at the actual moment that this suspect, this driver, bailed out of his car. Look at this, as cops were waiting for him, and hops into a waiting SUV. We don't know the relationship that this person has with this vehicle, this getaway vehicle. We do know that the avalanche at that point was nearly broken down because it was only driving on 3 wheels at that point. Going through the Inglewood neighborhood, trying at one point to enter LAX and then turning around. But leading officers on this lengthy chase were told that this person is an attempted murder suspect who could possibly be armed and dangerous. So now officers are in this difficult position where they have to figure out how much of a distance to stay away from him, while also making sure that this driver right here doesn't climb up too fast in the speed to endanger the public. So they have a really tough decision they have to make right now. As we're watching this unfold right now, and Stu's trying to get some more information for us. But yeah, what you're watching right now, LAPD in pursuit of a murder suspect in the Inglewood area. He keeps on, I mean, this is the speeds right now. I would probably have to say he's going about 50, 60 miles an hour down these streets. No effort to stop. He's being pursued by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 squad cars, 6. Am I counting? And now he's going through, he's going through some more residential neighborhoods.
It's approaching 4th Avenue right now. You can see right there that we have the street maps up. I don't have to give you locations. But this continuing on, and he seems to be in a residential neighborhood, and he's been making blocks out here. We're trying to move Skyfox a little bit closer just so we can get a little bit better pictures. We are really far away from this. Now, I understand one of our good friends at the station just gave us the information. They did get those 2 other people in custody. I believe there were 2 females that were in that car. They got them into custody, but right now that driver, that's the one that's still inside this car, and he is not driving that vehicle. That is what is so bizarre about this. He made a phone call. He got somebody there to meet them, and then have them basically meet them in that area, and then jumped into the back seat of that car. LAPD, they are really, really doing what they can to stay with this car. You can see the SUVs, even the LAPD ones, hitting those bumps out there, getting a little bit of air. Continuing on, we're going to be back on Manchester, I believe, but this pursuit continues. And again, we're sorry about the distance. It's just been in one of those spots where we're doing what we can to stay with it. Right now, though, this older SUV continues to keep those officers at bay. I would almost venture to say, I'm not sure, is that a Lincoln, like an old some sort of Lincoln product? But right now you can see it continuing on, picking up those high speeds in these smaller neighborhoods. Whenever that happens, I always worry, not just about pets, but also definitely about people. People are out on the roadways. Sure. You're not expecting somebody to do 60 miles an hour in front of your home. Unless
not
you live
to mention
on
it's also spring break,
street.
right? You have kids at home too.
Yep.
Who are outside playing.
Yeah, a lot of kids are at home right now. making his way. At least you see him slowing down a little bit as he's making his way out onto what looks like to be a major street out there. But continuing on now, and then you can see it just gets onto those straightaways, just hammers it, trying to keep that distance between those officers. You know, the deal is hopefully this does not end poorly. These high speeds, that kind of driving. Of course, you know, he's probably looking behind him, wondering about where those officers are. But right now, we're still in we're in the South Los Angeles, so we're out of Inglewood. I'm looking at the streets myself. We're on St. Andrews and 85th Street, so we're back in the LA area right now. But this vehicle continues to elude officers. LAPD in pursuit. The person that's in the back seat of this car, now we know it's the back seat, is the person that was in that avalanche, driving that avalanche. So I'm starting to wonder if that was the person that of interest that they had all along had their eyes on, because they are making every effort to get this guy into custody right now. LAPD on the ground in force, and I'm also hearing them talking about other officers in the area. So when this does come to an end, you will see a lot of officers just mysteriously appear because they know what's going on. They're staying in the area, and of course, they want to do what they can to get the suspect in custody. And of course, they've got a lot of questions for that driver, and I'm sure there's some charges going to be pressed against him as well.
Yeah, unlike the avalanche where that car was essentially breaking down, this one seems to be doing just fine. So, Stu, what's the idea of possibly doing some spike strips for officers?
You know, spike strips would be something that they could use, but you just don't know where he's going to be. And, you know, and that's the thing also, not every LAPD unit has spike strips in the trunk. So they have to get somebody that has them, then they have to figure out where he's going. There's a lot of logistics involved in something like that. Not saying it can't be done, but just to have it done, that's going to be a bit of a trick. Right now, though, we're making their way coming up on Vermont, as I understand it. So we're actually back over by. Hopefully, he went through Vermont. So we're going to be getting closer and closer to the 110 freeway. Hang on just 1 second. Dylan, can we just go over to the 110? He's clearly talking with LAX right now, but we're making our way back out towards the 110 right now. So hopefully, if he gets onto the 110, we'll be able to get a little bit closer. We can clean these shots up. I'm just my big worry right now is my job, meaning that we need to see how this thing ends and where these suspects go. So right now, that is my big concern. But right now, a lot be. On the ground, they're
certainly not making your job easier.
Yeah, but definitely these high speeds, that kind of reckless driving, getting our way into the South Los Angeles area. Take a look at that right there. That's a lot of traffic. Oh, and a bicyclist through. Now he's through Figueroa,
again, he's not
so
going that fast
he's
right
getting up
now.
right by the 110 freeway and squeezing through, and it looks like those were the on ramps right there. So, and what's going to happen here? Well, you know what? He can't do the rope-a-dope because LAPD is right behind him. So he's going to pop out. He popped out the other side. Let's see if he gets onto the freeway.
Yeah, what's the closest freeway? How easy of access is it for him right now?
There he is.
Yeah.
And they're saying it too on the radio right now. Lots of traffic. You see him driving. Looks like he's driving over the center divider. Now he's on the wrong way, making his way over to Broadway. But this pursuit continues out here. And hang on. That's him right there. It looks like
going into a parking lot.
What is he doing? Get out of the parking lot.
Oh, jeez. Wait, where is he trying to go?
Going right through the Bank of America right there. A lot of pedestrians out that way.
I'm just wondering what the strategy could be here.
Keeping an eye on it. He's behind the building right now. You can see these officers are pretty clever. You can see some of them waiting in the wings down there just in case he comes back the other way. But right now it's getting more and more difficult for us to shoot it. I got to work with Dylan just a little bit. Can we go a little bit south?
Yeah, I know.
Can we park over the 110? Okay.
All right. So while we wait, Stu, for you to maybe get a cleaner, can we see him right now?
He's continuing. It looks like making his way back onto 85th Street, and it looks like we're continuing eastbound on 85th Street through the South Los Angeles area. Extremely high speeds, very dangerous situation for anybody on the ground down there. And this pursuit continues. LAPD in pursuit. They've got 2 helicopters over it right now, LAPD helicopters, and a number of officers right behind it. And then not to mention, they probably have more officers in the area, just waiting to do whatever they need to do to bring this to an end.
What's the closest highway around here? Because I'm just wondering what the strategy is, because he pulled into a parking lot and now it seems like he's going around in circles again. So I don't know if they're looking for something or if they're trying to make a getaway or find a straight way. I don't know. I mean, he's being pursued by 1, 2, 3, 4 police SUVs.
You just gotta wonder what, you never can figure out what these guys are thinking, or gals, and just the idea is basically what's going on is they're just trying to stay away from law enforcement. They always think like, I'm going to be the one that gets away, and we rarely see them actually get away, especially with a situation like this. Right now, LAX is keeping us at a distance. They're making their way southbound. I'm going to work with Dylan, my pilot, again, see maybe we can get over the 110, head south, because he's coming up on the 105 here shortly. But
all right, and Stu, while you try to get a clearer picture of what's happening right now, let's get you back to that moment where the driver of this Avalanche hops out. We're told this is an attempted murder suspect, and he hops into the back seat of this waiting SUV to get away from authorities. And I have to hand it to the LAPD. They were hot on his heels almost immediately, but he was ripping through traffic at that point, just trying to make a getaway. This is after a lengthy pursuit in that Avalanche, which led to one of the front wheels coming off altogether. The car essentially broke down to the point where it was undrivable. And I believe he also hit another car right before that Avalanche came to a stop. But we don't really know who the suspect is. How many? We were told that the 2 people who were in that Avalanche tried to get away, but they were actually arrested by police, so they're in police custody right now. But this suspect right now still driving in that SUV, trying to escape authorities. Stu, are you hearing anything about how many people are in this SUV?
Well, we're hearing right now that it is going to be it's a female driver. That we're hearing that right now. We hear they're 92nd and Avalon. I'm trying to, and now they're over by Manchester. So I'm trying to. Hang on.
Yeah, I know.
You know what, guys and gals? I'm sorry. I'm trying to find this again. It is like a needle in a haystack. We've got all these new rules going on where we're not allowed to be near the LAPD helicopters. Westbound Manchester from Avalon, so he's got to be coming up somewhere right in here. So we're going to keep an eye on it. We'll see if we can pick this thing up here in just a second. But he's going to be coming up on Main.
Yeah,
San Pedro. So he's got to be like right here somewhere, right in this area. There's Manchester.
Yeah, I know. It's not easy right now because you're dealing with this mixed industrial residential area. And I see one cop car. Let me see. You guys aren't far away. From getting the shot here.
It is driving me crazy personally too.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is still.
There he is. There he is, right there.
We have him back.
So he's on. It says 84th Street in Maine, but I have a feeling that we're on Manchester. But it's continuing on there. We're at such an angle that it makes it very difficult to see anything. LAPD or LAX not allowing us to move. And that's something that we should be talking to them about maybe later on. But at any rate, making his way over here to Broadway. We'll see when he pops out on Broadway. There he goes.
Okay, so he's heading down Broadway right now.
Wait. Eastbound Manchester. So he turned around and he's going back the other direction. So
making a U-turn? Is that what happened? She made a. We should say she because you're being told that this is a female driver now.
There he goes. Yep. There he goes. So he's southbound on Main right now. There you go. You can see the top of the roof as he's making his way farther and farther away from us. But yes, I heard that it was a female driver. That's what I heard just momentarily ago I heard it on the radio. So I can't really say for sure. But right now he's making his way southbound Main. And I'm sure, Dylan, we're going to move south as soon as we can, right? Okay.
Yeah, so we're not exactly sure what the relationship was.
But if we stay over the 110, how's that a problem?
To this other SUV that's being pursued right now. But we see the moment where this SUV actually went into a Bank of America parking lot. If we can pull up that video, you can see right there. Yeah, makes its way into the parking lot, followed by officers. I mean, you can see people walking into the bank at that point. And then apparently trying to cut through the parking lot onto a nearby street. But this has been a wild pursuit so far, starting in Inglewood, sort of circling around the LAX neighborhood. And we kind of wondered why that was the case. But then when the avalanche started coming apart and the front wheel essentially came off, and the avalanche actually hit a bystanding car, you see the driver hop out of the avalanche and into a waiting SUV. And there was that moment once again. You can see it broke down completely. Driver hops out, runs across the street, and then hops into a waiting car. So perhaps that's the reason this car was going so slow and was trying to figure out, and was going essentially in circles trying to figure out where to go next. And this has been the case ever since. We're trying to get a clearer picture, but it looks like, yeah, Stu, you have it. Number of LAPD following this person.
There's got to be, you know what, should have counted them. It looked like something out of a movie. It seems like almost every officer in the division is in pursuit of that vehicle right there. We're getting allowed to get a little bit closer now. So that's a huge plus. And I've been just passing cop car after cop car after cop car. I have yet to see the actual suspect vehicle. I think it is right there. Now we're making our way back into another major, going right through another major. Thank goodness that was a green light. And it's continuing on now. I believe we are on Avalon right now. And I'm sorry, 99th Street. 99th Street, we're heading eastbound. So we're making our way out of the LAX area. Thank goodness for that. And you can see that vehicle continues to drive. We might be able to get a little bit of a better shot when we get close enough and see if it is actually a female driver. We understand that it may be. I heard that it was a female driver. And this person... this wasn't a carjacking. It doesn't seem like a carjacking at all. Who knows what's going to come out later on. But the suspect from that Avalon jumped into the back seat of this vehicle right here, and they took off like nobody's business. They just and we saw speeds approaching 100 miles an hour at some points on a lot of the major streets out there. Now we're heading southbound Century Boulevard. Got somebody out in the roadway.
Don't try to, interfere with what's going on right now.
You got a solid red.
And there's a big bus crossing through.
He's making a right.
Okay.
Nope. Whoa.
I couldn't see there for a second, Stu.
He slid a little bit, kind of lost control trying to get around that bus. That older SUV, given it its props, it is an older vehicle, but it's at least it's going, right? But LAPD, they are in pursuit. That vehicle seems to be at least slowing down a little bit. We're not seeing those very, very high speeds that we saw earlier on. Maybe it's fatigue. That's something else that we never talk about. That driver, you've got a lot of adrenaline. You've got a lot of push in there when you're driving like that. You're trying to stay alert and do all that. And in your body, once that adrenaline goes, you really start to feel that slowing. That might be what we're seeing right here. Hopefully that moment of soberness, as it might be, the driver might be like, what am I doing? We need to stop this before somebody gets hurt. But it's continuing southbound, and we're making our way. It's still on Century, 109th Street. We're going to be getting really, really close to the 105 freeway here in a moment or two. And hopefully he's going to make his way south on that, or keep going. And we're going to be able to get fly this like a regular pursuit where we can get at least a little bit closer. Right now, though, it's continuing on, and we can see it. But, you just worry about all those pedestrians out there. You worry about people that are just going about their business.
Well,
and
yeah.
You've got somebody being chased by LAPD, and for what? That person, yes, it is a serious crime, but why would you want, it is a lot of questions. And, we're not here. This is not the moral hour for sure. Okay, so he's making his way. It looks like he's heading eastbound, so he's going to be actually getting closer to us right now. And you can see moving along right there, we're in the city of Watts in the Los Angeles area. And the speed's definitely slowing down, but still a little bit of that reckless driving. And LAPD, a number of them right behind them. And we also know a number of them on the streets nearby, making another turn right there. We got somebody on a bicycle. and going underneath the 105 freeway. So we're making our way southbound, and hopefully we're going to be able to get a little bit closer now, and we'll keep an eye on it. But this pursuit continues as we're making our way out of the LAPD area into the sheriff's area as we're entering the Compton area right now as 118th Street. That can't be. No, we're on Success. We're on Success moving southbound into Compton.
Yeah, and I'm sure people who live in these apartment buildings and homes nearby are wondering what the heck is going on. But don't if you're watching this, don't go outside. We don't know if this person is armed. We know that we're hearing reports that this person who fled into this SUV from the avalanche is an attempted murder suspect. So that's why police are keeping their distance.
They're not really keeping their distance. They just don't. They're just not able to do a pit maneuver.
Right,
they don't want to do that pit maneuver. Why didn't he pop out? What happened? Where did he go? Great, fantastic. I thought he was staying on 120th. Nope, it looks like he's going. He turned around, going back the other way. He got me on that one. Running through another red light right there. And heading back over towards the 105 freeway, but you can see that vehicle definitely slowing down. That's if anything, that's going to be a plus for what's going on. We're not doing 60 to 80 miles an hour right now. We're kind of just doing 40 to 50, which is still extremely dangerous, especially when you're running red lights. Making another turn right there. Looks like we're heading back out onto Imperial Highway. And looks like we're heading westbound on Imperial. LAPD, let's get a look at how many officers are actually right behind them right there. So it just continues.
Five. I'm counting
the line
five.
just
Six.
continues.
6 police SUVs behind him right now, or more.
Yep. And LAPD, they're talking on the radios. They're going to be in that area. They want this thing to come to an end peacefully. But this car continues to just go and elude the officers from the LAPD. They could do the pit maneuver. We've seen a couple of opportunities where they could do it. Now look at this. Really busy making those turns. This is where the lights and sirens really come in handy. When you come up to an intersection like that, that means everybody's hearing those lights and sirens, so they're looking around, and if they're not moving off to the right, at least they're stopped. And that's going to be a big plus. It's probably going to save somebody's injury and or damage to their vehicle. Right now, though, continuing on, you can see it right there. LAPD right behind them. We're on Imperial Highway. We're making our way back over to the 110 freeway. Hopefully, this person isn't trying to talk that driver into going back over to LAX, because again, we saw. Yes, it was complicated. It was difficult, but it definitely did not solve any of the problems. LAPD, just because they don't have a helicopter above it, doesn't mean those cars can't drive there. They can drive there. They can do whatever they need to do, and they're going to stay right behind it, and they're going to make sure that suspects right now are in custody. That driver now is suspect at aiding and abetting, and of course, you can see those speeds kind of just slowing down a little bit, but a lot of folks out today, a lot of folks watching Fox, I can tell you that. They're all out there on the side of the road just getting a gander what's going on. And of course, that's not what LAPD wants, and definitely do never try to get involved in any of this stuff or try to bring that thing to an end. Right now, though, this SUV continues on. We're on Imperial Highway, making our way over to the 110 freeway.
I mean, I suppose that's, for better or worse, this grand show of law enforcement behind him right now is deterring people from getting in his way. And you've been covering these things way longer than I have, obviously, Stu. So have you seen, is this common to see this many squad cars in pursuit of a suspect like this? We're counting 7 right now.
No, not at all. And it just kind of shows you how important this is for LAPD, because they have that number of squad cars there. They may be, the thinking might be along the lines of somebody aided and abetted. Who else is going to aid and abet? What are they going to have to deal with when this comes to an end? So that's probably one of the reasons why they're allowing that. A lot of times they will only allow 2 or maybe 3 vehicles to actually be in pursuit, depending upon the number of persons inside that vehicle. But in this case, this is almost a parade of vehicles right there. Making a turn right now onto Broadway. Looks like we're going to be heading northbound on Broadway. We're back in that LAX area, so it's going to be difficult to stay with it. But at least Broadway is a straightaway, so we can keep an eye on it, maybe get behind it and just look straight up the street. But right now, the pursuit continues. You can see the shadow for the LAPD helicopter that is above. I understand that there's another one that's nearby. Maybe there's two of them over it. Dylan is confirming that right now. So they're doing that also just to make sure that when this comes to an end, that they have eyes on both those suspects when they get out and run. They want to make sure both of them are going to be in custody when this comes to an end. Right now, though, 40, 50 miles an hour northbound on Broadway. We're making our way out of the Watts area. We're well established in the South LA area right now, and just continuing northbound. Hopefully, he gets all greens, and there are none of these issues where we get up into traffic again, and this driver starts making those dangerous decisions.
Yeah, it is Friday, and I guess maybe that's a good thing when it comes to this kind of pursuit, because I don't see many. It could be a lot more congested on the road than it is right now.
Yeah, it could be, and it is Friday, and it is also Good Friday for that matter as well. A lot of folks staying home today in that observance, and then of course Easter is this weekend. Right now, though, it looks like we're setting up for what looks like a left turn. That doesn't mean that's what he's going to do. There we go. He's just getting around that traffic that stopped at the light, and there we go, making that turn again. This is where those lights and sirens come in handy. A lot of the folks down there, they hear those lights and sirens, and they do what they need to do. They stop. And or try to pull over to the side of the road. So this is continuing northbound right there. You can see it. We're still, I think, portions of this is all LAPD's area right now. So right now, continuing northbound. Continuing northbound. I just heard the airship call it. So there you go. And I'm going to work with Dylan. Maybe we can get a little bit to the right, just to get those trees out of the way. Okay. So this is where we're allowed to be right now. So we're going to keep an eye on it from where we can. But this pursuit continuing out here. This driver catching a lot of these red lights. You see it right there, another solid red. LAPD, the lights and sirens, probably alerting a lot of these folks to what's going on. Northbound on Broadway. 2 people in that vehicle. One of them from that avalanche. We understand possible attempted murder suspect. And then the driver of this vehicle now aiding and abetting that person from that avalanche, because clearly this vehicle was waiting for him when they stopped, and they jumped out and got into the back seat, and this pursuit continued. Northbound on Broadway, making a turn right now on 89th Street. Don't know if they know this area, don't know what the plan is, but right now this just continues as a pursuit. LAPD behind it, very little they can do to stop it. But they are probably starting to work some plans, maybe changing up their ideas. They might try spike strips. They might try something else.
Yeah, especially when you have that many officers in pursuit of this suspect. And he's going through residential neighborhoods right now once again. And he's also going slow enough to where it doesn't seem like he's really endangering the public too much with the speed, at least. I mean, I know that he went through a couple of intersections and didn't stop, but as far as the speed goes, it doesn't really seem like he's putting the public in that much danger. So I'm wondering how long this pursuit can continue under those circumstances without police, doing something to intervene here, whether it's spike strips or a pit maneuver.
I think they might be trying to do the spike strips right now. We'll see how this plays out. Coming up onto another major, we don't see a lot of traffic out there. We have a bad angle right now. But we're coming up on San Pedro. Looks like he's going to be going northbound on San Pedro. You got LAPD right behind it. That would have been another good spot to do that pit maneuver, making that slow turn as they're making that transition, and no other civilians in the area. But again, they haven't been certified. That's certified. They're all certified. Well, the driver that would do the pit would be certified. Hey, take a look at this. A lot of traffic right there.
Yeah,
what's this person
going to do now?
Manchester, and slowing down. At least we see that. And then making his way through that intersection right there. But that's the thing. They might try to change this up a little bit. They might try to bring this to an end with a pit maneuver, but they also might use spike strips. You did mention it in the past, and believe me, they are trying to be proactive. Let's just leave it at that. If the opportunity arrives, they will try to use those spike strips for sure.
In the meantime, while we're trying to get a clear shot of this suspect, let's talk about the moment that he hopped into this SUV that we're looking at right now. And then he almost, we're told, almost hit a pedestrian. Was just pulling into the Bank of America parking lot.
Yeah.
So this,
those were scary. Those were scary moments indeed. Whenever I see a suspect drive into a parking lot, be it a grocery store, or in this case it was Bank of America, you've got pedestrians walking around. You know those folks are not thinking about fast cars driving driving through those parking lots. Just my blood runs cold. It really does. You just don't want to see anybody get hurt. LAPD, definitely the public safety is number one. And also, got to be clear about this, even that suspects' safety is on their minds. Continuing on, you can see that they keep moving. They're talking about something that they might have recovered from the other vehicle. Maybe somebody from our desk can clarify what they just said right there, because if there's a possibility that they did recover a weapon in that other vehicle, and there's a possibility that this person not armed, they might be able to do something like a pit maneuver.
Sure, but you don't. I mean, you don't know, as far as this SUV goes. You don't know what kind of weapon, or if there could be a weapon in this car. It doesn't matter what happened in the avalanche. All they're pursuing right now is this SUV.
True. Very true. And these are the things that officers are trained to think about. These are the things that this is what keeps officers alive. They just think about it like that. And, so they are not going to do anything that's going to put themselves directly in harm's way, but they want to bring this to an end safely. They want to make sure that everybody is okay at the end. But right now, slow moving. We're passing a school right there, but you did mention it is definitely spring break right now. But that doesn't mean they might not have summer programs. But you can see it, like we're farther and farther away. We're creeping up. We're staying with it the best we can. But where this person's going, that's the big question.
I don't even know if they know where they're going at this point. It kind of seems like this pursuit has been relatively aimless. It hasn't gone on the highway. It's been going through these, mixed residential neighborhoods for a while now. And that was the same thing with the avalanche before it came to a stop and changed out cars. So it doesn't seem like there's much of a direction here.
There's definitely not much of a direction, that is for sure. But that with that avalanche, and when the driver was in there, they definitely made contact, or were talking to this person. That wasn't just random. So they made some sort of deal. They tried, this driver of that SUV tried to get as close as possible, and then you saw it. I'm not sure what Audi it was, to be precise. I'm sure some of my car buddies are going to really ride me on some of that stuff, but it definitely was a nicer high-end Audi, and that SUV, that avalanche, plowed right into it. Mm-hmm. I was worried that we had lost it. There we go. So we're approaching another major right there, the roadway running out, so he has to make a turn. It looks like he's made a turn. He's going to be heading westbound, so he's going to be coming a little bit closer to us. We're basically over the 110 freeway right now, and but much slower driving. Much slower driving. That's what we can say right now. But still running every red light that he comes across. We've been in the wrong side. Been driving against traffic a couple of times still. So the dangerous driving has not stopped. But at least the speeds have slowed down a little bit. And again, the driver of that vehicle now wanted for aiding and abetting. The passenger inside that vehicle, I believe that's going to be what LAPD was in pursuit for in the beginning. That was the attempted homicide suspect driving that avalanche, and right now this is the closest we've been, so we're going to see if we can get a better look at the driver. Whoops, There it is. And all I can say is that it does appear to be female. Does appear to be female behind the wheel. So we'll keep an eye on it the best we can, but this pursuit continues on, and this is as close as we've been to this car since this pursuit started. But definitely, why? Why are you doing this? And
Stu, is that back
I was
tire
wondering
flat?
about that. Yes, and I would not be surprised if that was a spike strip, because you had mentioned
or
it
maybe this
earlier
person hit one of the famous potholes that's cropping up all over LA. maybe for once a pothole worked in law enforcement's advantage.
I was going to say the pothole did some good, huh? But I think it might have been actually a spike strip. I'm not sure how they would have got the rear and not the front, but I think it might have been a spike strip. But you can see it right there. So now that SUV, a little bit disabled, that tire's staying on there for right now. If this continues on, we've seen it so many times in the past, the tire shreds, comes off, he starts rolling on the rims. But you can see that just continuing on. We're on Slauson Boulevard. just making their way. Another right turn that's always the most convenient for that suspect. LAPD, they keep an eye on that stuff too, driving behavior. But right now we're on northbound on Hoover. You can see a lot of the folks in the neighborhood. You can just imagine what all those lights and sirens sound like down there.
Oh, sure.
Seven officers behind that one car. That's going to be making quite a lot of noise.
There's no
looks like
mistaking for
another
pedestrians what's going on and where it's happening, and that's the good thing of when you have this many officers in pursuit is you have this grand show that something's happening and stay out of the way.
Wow. So we're keeping an eye on it, slowing down again. Oh,
Coming to a stop or not.
Almost.
We keep getting fooled, Stu.
Yeah.
They keep changing their minds.
LAPD very, very anxious right now. They're keeping an eye on all the other vehicles that may be in the area. Something might have been following them. Maybe it's some sort of independent media, maybe not. So they're definitely keeping an eye on everything that's going on around them right now. But you saw that slowing down, almost coming to a stop right there. We got to mark that location, got to figure out that was on 56th Street. So if they make their way back to that area, that might be a spot where that maybe that suspect lives, or maybe where the driver of this SUV lives. So that's something to think about. They did come to a complete stop because the LAPD opened their doors just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, though, we're back on Figueroa northbound. You got one flat tire that's going to be driver's side rear. It's still holding on, so you're not riding on the rim yet. But pretty soon that tire is going to come apart, and then things are going to start changing up again. But at these slower speeds, you just don't know. But the rear wheels are the drive wheels. So if that tire comes apart, and it might actually make that vehicle almost undrivable. So it might give the LAPD the opportunity to bring this to a stop.
Which, hey, is exactly what happened in the original car that we saw, the Avalanche. The tire came off, and riding on the rim, sparks. You could see sparks from the car, and that's essentially why the person bailed and probably got into this SUV, who clearly is an acquaintance or a friend or now an accomplice to this police pursuit. And we'll see what happens here. But Stu, I mean, how long can this car go until the rim starts to bend and the wheels fall off? I mean, how long can this thing last? And look at how close police are right now.
That's the big question. And you can see the number of officers just following it, 2, 4, 6, 7. So they have 7. They have 7 officers right there making a turn. I got to take a moment and just because I've said Dylan's name so many times a day, and it might have been a little bit in frustration. I don't want anybody to think anything but the fact that Dylan is one of our best pilots out here flying Skyfox. He is the most diligent, and he stays up on things the best he can. He is trying to get us the best shots always. Just know that I appreciate his flying skills and his diligence in the airspace and working with the tower to get us where we need to be to get these shots, even though right now can't see it again. But that is definitely not his fault. Right now, though, we can see that he's making his way back out onto another major. Let's find out if he made a turn. And I think he did. Yes, he did. It's coming right back at us right there.
Toward you guys.
And we're going to get it. Yeah, it works out for us pretty well. Going to keep an eye on that rear tire. I'm just kind of curious if it's, definitely coming apart right now.
It's popping off.
Yep. Yeah, there it goes.
Look at that.
So that's gonna create some issues for that driver, and of course that SUV's performance. And but like you said, hopefully this is going to be what kind of brings it to an end safely. You're going to lose that tire, you're going to lose that ability to speed up, and maybe it'll bring it to an end. We've seen them in the past talk about how they can do, that they would be able to do a pit maneuver, especially with the tire missing right there. The tire just beating that truck up. Look at the parts of the bumper coming apart right now. There you go. That was the big part. So now he's basically driving right on that rim. I did hear that they did recover a weapon. So
they did recover
like
a weapon
too. Yes.
In the Avalanche. The original car.
They said it was. I'm not 100% on that. I heard the words tossed from the vehicle. So maybe it was going on this one. Maybe the gun. Okay, it was found in the back of the Avalanche. So it was found in the back seat of the Avalanche.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's like you said too. You know, who says that this driver didn't come just with a ride? Maybe he came with a ride and a gun. So
Right. You never know.
You just don't want to be that officer right there making those decisions. You know, so and of course the officer that is right there, these are the things they're trained for. These are what they drill into these guys to stay alive on the job. And believe me, LAPD, they're some of our best, and they are bright, and they're trained, and they are today really, really earning their pay. I can guarantee you that, especially that officer that's right behind that vehicle.
Oh, definitely.
When they were doing those, high speed driving, and they were weaving in and out of traffic. You just gotta, we get worried. Just imagine what that driver is doing, that officer, and also keeping track of what's going on and keeping up on the radios. These guys and gals are amazing. Right now, though, coming up on Vermont. Oh no, we're on Vermont. Are we on Vermont? Yes, we are on
Stu,
Vermont.
one thing I can confirm for you, and this is through police, is that the two women who bailed the original avalanche that the pursuit began in have been taken into custody. And it is confirmed that this was not a carjacking, as we all were kind of guessing, because it did seem like this car was waiting around for this suspect to jump in. Clearly they do know each other. Do we know if the murder suspect, the attempted murder suspect, is male or female?
I don't know. And they just said murder suspect. Somebody was saying to me a moment ago about, possibly this was an Uber. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. But at any rate, now we've got that confirmed that this is not a carjacking, and this person was there on purpose to give that suspect a ride. So right now, though, that ride continues as it would be. LAPD in pursuit. Number of officers right behind it, 2 helicopters above it from the LAPD, along with Skyfox. And, of course, we're continuing on. The speeds have slowed down. That rear tire missing. It's not a front wheel, so that's kind of a plus. Luckily, you got a green light at that one, but it's definitely going to slow it down when it speeds up. And that might be a big plus. If this thing can't get out of its own way, or if it starts slowing down, LAPD might have that opportunity to do that pit maneuver, or they're leaving it up to those officers or whoever is the watch commander in charge that are making those calls to allow it or not to allow it. Right now, though, it's a waiting game. LAPD is doing what they can to keep the public safe. The driver of that vehicle doing what she can to elude officers, and the pursuit continues. We don't know how long that car is going to keep up with those three full tires and that one flat on the back, and we don't know how much fuel it has, or we don't know how much.
My goodness!
Come on.
Actively going through a crosswalk while people were walking through it. I mean, this person has put a number of pedestrians, drivers in harm's way. Let's face it, driving on the wrong side of the road, pulling into a parking lot, narrowly missing pedestrians, hitting another car. So this has been far from a tame pursuit.
Oh, definitely not tame. They're definitely not tame at all. The driver of this vehicle, very aggressive, especially earlier on. We saw those extremely high speeds. We saw those moves where it was extremely dangerous. There was many close calls with this vehicle. That Avalanche, it was driving. Well, it had the drive of one of the steering wheels off of it. One of the front wheels were off, so it made it a little bit more difficult to maneuver. But this driver, when that suspect got in, you saw it. That thing tore out of there.
Oh yeah,
and those
that
speeds
car was
really picked up. Yes. And they just keep and it just keeps going. That driver, I kind of wonder, maybe that person thinking, maybe this was not the best thing to do on Good Friday.
Yeah, I mean, because you mentioned that once that adrenaline wears off, and this person is just left driving, you sometimes reality kicks in, and you hope it does for this person. You hope that reality sets in. What am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Yeah, and it looked like I can't say 100%. I was just wondering. It looked like like she was on her phone texting just a moment or two ago, sending out a text or two, and you just hope that they're not planning on doing that same rope-a-dope where they're trying to get somebody else there, because if that's the case, then you just believe me, LAPD, that might have happened the one time. It's not going to happen again. I can almost guarantee you that. They're going to be on the lookout for something like that. But that vehicle continues to move along right there. You can see it. We got a flat tire.
Do we have two
LAPD,
flat tires or just one?
It looks like just one.
Close.
It looks like the driver's side rear. That looks like that's the only one that's definitely the only one that's flat right now.
It's going real slow.
And she was texting. So I'm just hoping they're not trying to set up another one of those, hey, meet us at, or I'm going to get to this corner, because I just don't think they're going to be able to pull it off. That's the only thing I can say right now. And you're just dragging somebody else into a world of trouble.
Yeah, let's hope they don't try to upgrade cars again like they did this last time. I mean, there's enough officers in pursuit to where hopefully they wouldn't try to attempt that again, or that wouldn't happen successfully again. But I'm thinking that maybe officers are just waiting for this car to fall apart.
Well, that it actually is part of it. We always say that with law enforcement, time is on their side. The longer this pursuit goes, the more chance that it might end badly. But in this case, they're talking about they're talking about a Crown Victoria. You know what? I don't want to take the chance to look, but they're actually talking about one of the units that's in the pursuit to slow down and pull over. There's a Crown Victoria that's following the pursuit. So
Crown Victoria that's following the pursuit that they're worried about could be involved somehow.
Yes, they're worried that this is somebody that's trying to get up, and they might possibly do that same type of situation again. So they actually had one of the units from behind that pursuit to actually stop that. They said it was a Crown Victoria. That's all I heard right there just now. So the helicopter, the airship, the LAPD airship, keeping an eye on vehicles that are in the area, that are staying nearby. So they're really up on it right now, especially with what happened at the end of that avalanche chase, where this suspect jumped in the backseat of this car. They're continuing on. I guess they are continuing. I'm just kind of looking out the window. So they're continuing westbound. So it's going to make it more and more difficult for us to keep an eye on it. Hopefully they make a U-turn, come back to where we are. But right now, this pursuit continues, and LAPD. Look at the number of cars that are following it, and of course,
we're talking about at least 7 police LAPD cruisers that are following this suspect right now. Do you think is the added presence? You said this is unusual. You don't see things like this happen very often. What could be possibly the reason in your estimate? I know we don't know for sure, but I mean, is it because the person was armed before, wanted for attempted murder?
The person was armed. I'm sure that's part of it. The other part of it is the fact that he had this person meet them. So they're probably thinking, where is this going to end? Maybe this person drives to a place where there's a number of people that are, friendly to that suspect. And so they just need more officers to be there at that termination. I believe that's probably part of it. But I am hearing them talk about that suspect, the driver of this vehicle, on the phone, and they are concerned about this another meet, as it would be. Like they're going to meet somebody somewhere, and then they're going to try to switch vehicles or do whatever they're going to do. LAPD is going to do everything in their power to not allow that to happen. I can guarantee you that. Mm-hmm. But right now, making our way in the South LA area, very residential area, and there we go. Sorry, was looking at a street too far north, but and just keeping an eye out right there, see if they go through here or they make a turn. There they are. Was that them? Yeah, that was them. So that vehicle that we were looking at was actually a vehicle paralleling this, and that's what we were talking about earlier on. They're going to have LAPD officers nearby paralleling the pursuit, just in that general area wherever it is. So when it does come to an end, they have extra officers there.
Yeah, and once again, this person's in a residential neighborhood. So if you're in this area, if you're watching this all unfold right now from the comfort of your homes, please stay inside. Do not go out and because we've seen a couple of people, right? We've seen a couple of people standing near
Yes.
their homes, and we just don't know. We just don't know if this person who's driving is armed with anything but a cell phone. We just don't know at this point. So it's better to be safe than sorry and just stay inside. And if you are, as we try to get this, shot back up and running again, but if you are just joining us, this police pursuit began in the LAX Inglewood
Hey, Dylan.
neighborhood.
Can we wander south?
Yeah, with an avalanche. We were told there were 3 occupants inside this avalanche, and then led police on a lengthy chase. The suspect bailed from the car and into a waiting SUV, leaving behind a weapon in the back seat of that avalanche. 2 other women, were told, tried to escape from that avalanche and were arrested. So they're in custody right now. And then that SUV, that waiting SUV, we're told this was not a carjacking. This was actually somebody who was waiting for that suspect, started gunning it down, mostly secondary roads, right, Stu? This is not taking us to the highway just yet. Or am I wrong?
We have not seen anything. We have not seen anything as far as the freeways ever with these vehicles, with the second one or the first one. They've been staying on. The streets. I just heard them talking about Century and Van Ness. You probably can see right there as well. We got the streets up right there. So we're trying to locate exactly where he's at. But approaching. Hang on. So they're. Okay. So they're.
Yeah, so you're trying to get
Century approaching Western. There they are right there. So they're making that turn. So they're going southbound on Western right now. So they're still heading over towards the 105 once again. But like you said, we've not seen them on any of the freeways at all this afternoon. So that vehicle continues to go, even with the 3 tires and the one flat on the driver's side rear. LAPD still behind it. And you can see right there, as I'm lacking on my skills. Sorry about that.
No,
I'm trying to stay a little bit ahead of it, but we get a glimpse of it every now and then through the buildings. I know this is not the shots that we usually see with these pursuits, but it's been staying in the South LA area, and with these new rules that that's another story for another time, but. We're held at bay, and we basically have to sit out here and try to get the shots that we can. But they're making their way southbound right now. 108th is what I heard just a second ago. So we try to keep ahead of them and see if we can watch them pop out somewhere down towards the south.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, Stu, if there's a thought behind. You mentioned that the possible use of spike strips, but wouldn't more than one tire be flat if that were the case? I don't know if you can hear me. Let's get back, though, to that original video while he tries to get a shot of this suspect. This is kind of where this chase picked up, if we could get to that video of this shot right here. This is near Inglewood. This was West Century Boulevard that this happened, where the suspect bails out of the avalanche, which was broken down already, and then hops into that waiting SUV. I think police right now are worried the same thing's going to happen again, because we've seen this pattern, right? I mean, this avalanche kept going essentially around in circles through these neighborhoods until it came to a stop, and then this happened. So you're kind of hoping that history doesn't repeat itself right now, but then you see that car, that SUV, driving into the Bank of America parking lot, narrowly missing several pedestrians, cutting through that parking lot and continuing on. We are dealing with an attempted murder suspect, and we're told that this person had left a weapon in the back seat of the avalanche before they bailed out and took the SUV that was waiting. And we're back with Stu. So this person is on the highway? Where are we right now?
No, not on the highway. We just crossed over the 105 freeway. We're going to be back in the Inglewood area. He's been staying on Western. We still have to stay a little bit farther away. And, if it gets farther south, that's going to be good for us, because then at least we might be able to get a little bit closer. Right now, they're still southbound on Western as the last 122. So we're looking in the right spot, but it's just so far away and out at a distance, and you got so much trees out there, but somewhere right there in that area. There you go. We got a glimpse of a LAPD cruiser. Yeah, we're in the Hawthorne area, and making our way southbound, and just trying to keep ahead of it and use that end of the lens technology. There we go. So, you know, this is one of those things where if you were looking out the window of Skyfox, you wouldn't, you could not even make out where this is, even if I tried to point it out to you.
Yeah.
But you can see right there a lot of traffic, and let me see if they're going through or they made a turn. Looks like they're going southbound, keeping on. So they're continuing southbound on Western. So we're making our way probably into Gardena by now, as we're staying on Western, continuing southbound. Where they're taking us, well, we're going to find out when we get there. That's the best I can say. I used to say that to my kids all the time. But right now, that driver's keeping the officers at bay. They did have some suspicious vehicle following them for a little bit. They are concerned that this driver might be trying to contact somebody else, and they might be able to do another one of these swap of cars. The LAPD is going to do what they can to make sure that that does not happen. Right now, though, making our way, looks like we got another major coming up, but it seems like cars are stopping, so they got a red light. And continuing on, southbound Western, and definitely in the Gardena area right now. LAPD, they've been chasing this car, well, this one since that swap. But this started, I don't even know how long ago.
I've lost all concept of time right now, Stu.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, this pursuit's been going on for at least how many? 40 minutes? I think
40 minutes. That is a long.
An hour and a half. An hour and a half.
LA standards. That is definitely long for LA standards. And you can see that vehicle just continues to drive. That one tire is flat. Was it a spike strip? Well, you know what? I don't know if we're ever really going to find out. Or was it a pothole? Don't really know. But I can tell you that's the only big plus right now for this chase, is that they are down to 3 good tires on that car. You can see the sheriff's department helping out and just kind of
posted
blocking
up at
traffic
the corner there.
because. Yeah, and you know this is what they do. You know, law enforcement, they want to keep the public safe. I can tell you, sheriff's units probably are going to be in the area as well now that we are out of the LAPD area. So they're going to be leaning on their brethren in brown, as it would be, because they wear those tan uniforms. But you know, we're making our way south on Western. We're in the Gardena area. We have had a little bit of a tour of the Los Angeles area for sure. But this chase continues. Maybe we can get a little bit of better look at that driver. Right now, it looks like both hands are on the wheel.
Look, they're at the 9s and 3s, Stu, like we always advise. Safe driving, right?
Yeah. Safe driving. You can see she's very concerned about people around her.
Of course she is.
Of course she is. But at least she's not on the phone, because we definitely saw her on the phone earlier on.
So yeah, you did see her on the phone. Was she texting? Was she calling someone? Was she texting actively while she was, being pursued by at least 7 squad cars?
Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly, sorry about that. I was fighting a little bit of a cold, but yeah, you just don't know. I would venture to say probably texting, just because the window's down. If she was on a speaker, what are you going to hear with that window down? So right now, though, this pursuit just continues. This driver's still just driving. It looks like we're just doing a little bit of a weaving around there. Whoa, a little bit of a hard turn, and those are the things that we just don't want to see. And now she's going the wrong way in traffic. A lot of folks, they hear those lights and sirens. They are coming to a stop. That's what they have. That's what the public does, and it's actually a really good thing, especially when it's a chase like this. Right now, speeds have really, really slowed down, and that's a plus as well. But we're going to keep an eye on what's going on, and of course, right now, it's just a slow drive down Western as we're making our way south from the LA into Gardena, and let's see if we make our way down to Palos Verdes, because I think that's where Western ends, right? Is down in the Palos Verdes area.
Yeah, I mean this rear tire might be working to their advantage, right? Because at some point this car's got to slow down, and
that was nice.
That was real sweet, wasn't it?
Yeah. Classy.
Yeah. I mean, listen, at this point, I don't think that person cares about much of anything. right now.
Yeah,
But yeah,
true.
like I was saying, I think that the rear tire being out and disabled might be working to cops' advantage, at least because this person cannot go that fast. Eventually, I would have to imagine you keep driving like this, and you're driving on the rim. Sparks are going to come up, and your car is going to be completely disabled. That will happen at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I'm just amazed that this wheel is holding on. I mean, it appears that it has some rubber still stuck to the. It seems like the tire part is gone, but the sidewalls are still there. But it is just amazing that it is just holding on as well as it is. Right now, though, this car, they're going. Let me pull up the speedometer real quick. We had it down because we were at the end of our lens and stuff like that. Yeah, that's about right. We're going about 45 miles an hour, 43 miles an hour. That seems to be about right. And these are the speeds that LAPD has been talking about as well. So that's a big plus. Those high speeds have slowed down. LAPD, they're not slowing down. They've got a number of officers still behind it. And I think maybe one of the reasons too why they keep getting an extra officer at the end is because of that fact that they are worried that this person might be trying to get a hold of somebody might be following them that try to get up closer, and we heard it. I don't know what came of it, but they did stop a vehicle that was trailing the pursuit earlier.
Well, they would have to get around the parade of seven police SUVs to get to that suspect.
Intent, or was it somebody, maybe an independent news person? But right now, it just continues to move along down there. And I'm going to stay a little bit wider on the shots for right now. And the pursuit continues, but at least the speeds are down to what we can at least call normal speeds, 35 miles an hour as we're coming up on another red light. And at least she slowed down just a little bit.
Yeah, well, you're wondering what this woman's relationship is to the suspect. Obviously an acquaintance. Obviously, she was waiting on standby to pick this person up. And you're hearing there was a Crown Vic that was possibly following this police pursuit in relation to the suspect, maybe trying to pull what we saw with this SUV, another awaiting vehicle. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Are we going against traffic right now? Yeah, we are. Okay. So now this SUV is all over the road. Stu, can you hear me? I don't know if you can, but yeah, we're going down. We're near Western Avenue right now. Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay. So we have you back?
No, I don't.
All right. So we are following this police pursuit that began near LAX Inglewood area. This has been a fairly wild pursuit so far, I have to say, as we wait for Stu to come back to us. I mean, he has a fairly clear shot of what this SUV is doing right now. We don't have much information in terms of who the suspect is. We do know they're wanted for attempted murder. This pursuit's been happening now for almost 2 hours as we watch them speed down streets. But this began near LAX Inglewood area. It started off in a separate car. Originally, the suspect was one of 3 occupants in an Avalanche. That Avalanche was being pursued by a number of officers to the point where the front tire actually gave out, and the suspect bailed from the car because it came to a stop into this waiting SUV, leaving behind a weapon in the back seat of that Avalanche. And then just started gunning it down all these secondary roads. I have not seen this SUV take the highway yet. These are all been secondary roads. And Stu, I don't know if you can hear me right now, but as far as the neighborhood goes, are we circling again, or have we really left this area?
You know what? I can hear you, but now I actually have mixed minus issues. I can hear myself on the radio as well. We are staying on Van Ness. We just made another turn. You saw that craziness right there. She got off of Western and then made her way onto 190th for a little bit, driving on the wrong side of the road, weaving around a little bit. Now we're making our way back over towards Western. Don't know if that's the plan or not, but you can see that vehicle continues to drive. LAPD, they still right there behind her. That driver has that suspect from that earlier pursuit in the back seat, so now they're in pursuit of her as well. This SUV just keeps on going, and you know what? As long as she keeps those speeds down to what we've been seeing, it's going to be okay. I would venture to say, hopefully, there's not somebody not paying attention, and that when she's running a red light, and that will crash into her vehicle as it would be. Right now, though, LAPD right there behind it. Looks like we're making our way back over towards Western. There it is. And we're continuing southbound on Western. So there must be a reason why they're staying on Western Boulevard. So because they were on Western, they got off, and now they're continuing southbound back onto Western Avenue. This is one of those ones where, I would venture to say that driver is going to drive that SUV till it does not drive anymore.
Yeah.
Meaning it might get stuck somewhere or run out of gas or maybe lose another tire, whatever it is. That the driver is not going to give up. They're going to wait for that vehicle to give up before they do anything. LAPD, they are still, well out of their area, but now we're in the Harbor Gateway area. So I think if we keep on going south, they do have a little bit of LAPD down this way as well. Especially down in the San Pedro area, but I don't know if we're going to go that far. But right now, we're definitely in the Harbor Gateway, so it's going to be sheriffs in this area as well. But LAPD definitely in pursuit. I know the other law enforcement; they're going to be nearby. This driver just being batty this afternoon.
Yeah,
just
I'm not
being
gonna lie,
behind
Stu,
the wheel, just doing what she needs to do to keep
Yeah.
those officers that far behind her. But in the end, hopefully nobody gets hurt. But you know that this is going to come to an end with those suspects going into custody.
Yeah, and you hope that it comes to a peaceful end as well, because this pursuit's been happening for some 2 hours now. And so can you, and I was asking you this earlier, I don't know if you could hear me, but this pursuit has sort of stayed within the same area, right? It doesn't necessarily seem like this person has a direction.
I heard the more pedestrians.
Yeah.
I heard the question about staying in the same area. We've watched pursuits sometimes take us on tours of South LA. We get on freeways, we go way out east, we come back, and etc. This one was hanging out in the LAX area, Inglewood area for the longest, and then made its way into South Los Angeles, and now making our way well south of all of that, making our way basically towards the Ranchos Palos Verdes area, or Torrance, depending on how far south we're going to go. LAPD, it looks like we're making a turn. Maybe there is a destination, because this seems to be a pretty random turn right here. We're on 122nd Street. Looks like a very residential neighborhood. So LAPD, they're going to stay behind it. They have information about what's going on. A little bit of traffic here. When we get on these residential roads, I always get worried. But there we go. So we're not staying on 122nd. Now we're on Harvard. But where this person goes in the end, really, we might figure it out. We might not. But LAPD, they just want to bring this to an end. They just want to take those two people into custody right now. That passenger wanted for the first pursuit and possibly an attempted homicide, and then the driver of this one who's basically aiding and abetting. That's probably the big charge that's going to be on there, and evading, meaning the pursuit. But right now, that vehicle is still holding on with the 3 full tires. The one shredded one on the back, LAPD in force down there. You can see a number of them. One of the LAPD helicopters overhead. They're making the calls as well, giving these officers on the ground the heads up, at least about what traffic is doing when they get through these intersections. But right now, I'm pretty much like everybody else. You just want to see this come to an end safely, and those 2 suspects go into custody.
Yes, do you think of it this way? We have been on this pursuit for so long that not just 1, but 2 cars have broken down, or are actively breaking down, I should say. Yeah, you really do hope that this comes to a peaceful end because, what's the game plan after this car does, finally come to a stop? And you're hoping that nothing happens as a result of this because this person has been weaving in and out of parking lots. We've seen them go the wrong way down roads, putting a lot of people in harm's way, even though not going fast, but still putting a lot of people in harm's way. Making another turn.
Well,
yeah, I'm just scratching my head on this one because it really doesn't seem like this person.
Again,
they're almost
I'm
looking
having
for open roads.
a lot of issues just trying to hear you right now. But what I can say is that the LAPD, when this thing comes to an end, they are going to treat this as armed suspects inside that vehicle, even though. We heard them earlier on saying that they did have one gun in custody. They retrieved that out of that Avalanche. That was the first vehicle that they were in that pursuit with. And but it's like you said, you just don't know. Maybe this person had two guns. Maybe this person, the driver of this vehicle brought a weapon. You just don't know. But the fact that the suspect is wanted for, here we go. Things might be changing.
Slow down right now.
That vehicle slowing down. She's probably thinking to myself, should have got gas before I picked this guy up. Maybe. Let's see what's going on. Up. The door's opening up.
Okay.
Door's opening up. Oh, that was
out of a moving vehicle.
Okay.
There's somebody else there trying to make a run for it. Two people are trying to make a run for it.
There we go. And making his way through the houses this way. We're going to keep an eye on him. Somebody running out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. Did you see that? That was some civilian.
Yeah.
Was just like, oh my God. I don't blame him. Just keep it running there. Well, I'm getting tired just watching this guy run. This is exhausting, and he's just keeping it up. Now, LAPD, I can tell you that they are calling it out right now. I'm just saying a little bit wider. You can see a number of those officers running right there. You'd think one of them would have brought the car. But at any rate, making a turn. Hopefully, he doesn't try to get into somebody's house. Oh, please don't get into somebody's house.
Please tell me you know this person.
Let's get a little closer. He's moving around. Up. He got folks getting out of the way. Maybe this is somebody's house that they know.
I don't know.
Maybe not. We're going to see if that garage door is open. Officers definitely have their guns out, but you can see that the residents of this house knew what was going on. Pretty much, they didn't seem any kind of excited about what was happening right there. Just kind of leisurely walking away. I'm going to kind of grab a picture of them real quick. Yeah, they're probably just like, oh man.
Yeah.
So. Definitely, the guns are out, and I'm going to stay a little bit wider. I really have a feeling this is going to end well.
He's got his arms up,
but,
so
I just don't want to see anything happen. Unfortunate right now. We just don't know. But this suspect definitely has their hands out.
Yeah,
but like I said,
this
they're
is
going to treat this like it is an armed suspect.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about that.
But this is the most volatile part of the pursuit.
This guy's got to be winded. LAPD, they must be winded as well. But they've got to keep their composure. There they go. There they go.
Wow.
There they go. So they're cool. I mean, yeah, this was a while ago. Another CG. This is a while ago. There's been no lives on at all when we've been going live. Look at that. So there you go. That's everything. All right, I'm done. I'm spent. Watching going in. So thank you everybody for being here and for watching the second stream. Nice to see Vinny and Leanne allegedly. So thank you everybody for your support as always. I am so tired now. So we've been going for a while today, since 9 o'clock this morning. Oh. So there you go. He's in custody. And Sarah P says, thank you for being here today. We'll see you all in the morning. Yes, tomorrow, 2-day hearing in 1 day. Zoom tomorrow about a case. So thank you, Robert G. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, we shall see you in the morning, 9 a.m. As I say, we'll be zooming tomorrow. So it'll be a long day, but quick day, if that makes sense. Thank you, Badaza. Thank you, lovely. In case that anybody wants to know what it is, it's a Holly Bobo murder case. Zachary Adams is looking for a retrial. He has been convicted for life in prison, but he wants a retrial. So we will cover that tomorrow. Right, everyone. Thank you, Jersey Jen, as well. So see you all tomorrow bright and early. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye, everyone.